We're gonna do this. Spell. Shit ain't what it seems. Look. This ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. This ain't what it seems, this ain't what it seems. Life ain't what it seems, life ain't what it seems. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. The spell is broken. Finally we can see. The spell is broken. We free. The spell is broken. Finally we can see. The spell is broken. We free. The spell is broken. Finally we can see. The spell is broken. We free. The spell is broken. Finally we can see. The spell is broken. We free. DJ Khaled voice, we the best. Can't dwell on it cause we manifest. I got tough skin, bulletproof vest. You say you for the people, put you to the test cause the spell is broken. People looking sad, I'm just in my bag. Only time I'm not it is playing tag. We ain't come off a boat, they big mad. They ain't give it to a straight zigzag. Get your lick back, say you did that. I once gave a fuck, I had to get it back. Can't get it back, you gotta live with that. Your government is crack, get out of here with that. Now we know who we are. They mad, they know we a star. They lied, they owe us a car. Really, they owe us the land. Recoupment, they owe us some bands. Wanna help, you owe us a hand. You silly, I know who I am. I'm an Indian, I don't give a damn. Why take problems with none of the perks? The system ain't broke, we don't know how it works. The ops ain't gonna tell you the ops is some jerks. The ops really obstacles, we was here first. I'm spitting the scripture, they call it a verse. We fit the description, they call it a curse. It's fucked up. We was really fucked like both ankles. When they try to help, I'm like, no thank you. Trust them and they gon' flank you. They ain't conquer nothing, but they did snake you. Don't sleep near me cause I will wake you. I'm really woke like pills make you. You show me love and I feel grateful. I'm not a hater, I don't feel hateful. I'ma say something, hope it reach the nation. Less appropriation, more appreciation. God created us, y'all a recreation. When you say Caucasian, all I hear is Asian. I'm a truth teller, I'm not an agent. I'm a truth teller, I'm not an agent. I'm not foul, but the fouls is flagrant. When life's a world stage, stage it. Right is right, wrong is wrong. We know that we can police our own. This shit ain't what it seems. Life is but a dream. Who's ever doing the asking is asking. Now we know who we are. They mad, they know we a star. They lied, they owe us a car. Really, they owe us the land. Recoupment, they owe us some bands. Wanna help, you owe us a hand. You silly, I know who I am. I'm an Indian, I don't give a damn. Ain't free, it ain't realized. This ain't what it seems. 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 Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Real eyes, realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Real eyes, realize. Yeah. Slavery was a long time ago. How? Same motherfuckers still here right now. Colonized on our land, they ahead of us. Changed our name so much, they scared of us. Church of the sun, y'all don't compare to us. Pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Talking about America, pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Even up the playing field, bitch, I'm darn. How you a victim, bitch, you a Karen. Cognitive dissonance, you don't need sperm. You got white privilege, so you don't need sperm. Looking at my homeland, man, I can't believe her. Colonized came here, they ain't never leave her. Indians ain't die off cause we here. You ain't gotta lie, just say you won't be here. How you American but not indigenous? 400 years still ain't get rid of us. All Europeans, naturalized citizens, made all the Indians niggas on the census. 1492, we was on the fences. Civil rights movement, we was so defensive. Black Wall Street, whites got so offended. Common law rights gave us amendments. Think I don't speak truth, that's alright. First slave 1619 was all white. 1200 wasn't no continent, all white. Europe named after a black woman, alright. Grafted, it come from us, do your research. Go within, quit listening to the teacher. And the Nuki got voice coming out the speaker. Cut off trees down and made us weaker. Really they foreigner, the shit gets deeper. Whites don't know where whites come from either. I'm Aboriginal, we come from the ether. Ruling over us in our land, that's evil. Being colonized right now, black people. Prisoner of the war, that's why it ain't equal. Wake up everybody, don't be no sheeple. Freedom ain't free, really freedom is illegal. And we can't get mad at this. Whites act like we can't see their advantages. Privileges real, they working in management. Low down dirty, but they calling us savage. They want you to think they above us. All white people are part-time judges. I ain't no racist, but I ain't no sucker. I ain't no African, but they my brothers. Then lied to, I got built up anger. You built everything, still waiting on the savior. Don't call yourself black, please do me that favor. Black tourmaline will protect you from a hater. Listening to your oppressors is dangerous. Gave us a Bible and stole our nation. Said we couldn't read, but we didn't know the language. Kept us on paper because we didn't see the danger. American African, Indian, keep the religion. Skin copper color look just like a penny. Wanted our land and you called us stingy. Ain't no Democrats there together, pay attention. We got ancestors, but the papers is missing. Kings and queens, we just can't remember. Remember who you are, just like Simba. Now they got a vax, we don't want that in us. George Washington is the ninth president.
Look it up.
United States only 10 square blocks.
Look it up.
White people really the minorities. Look it up.
You know what it is, man? It's the Autonomous Party Podcast and Mix Show.
They stop governing me.
It's your boy Super Blaze inside the campaign, man.
They don't keep it 100 with me.
You're listening to right now 3000.
Hate this song for the truth, don't hate it.
This is called His Story.
Verse I stated. Reach to the press, somebody gotta say it. I'm taking out of school. That's
welcome. Hit that like button real quick as you pull out.
Yeah. History, it's his story.
Because history,
that's his story.
What he said?
History, it's his story. That ain't my story. History.
Shout out to the family, shout out to the chat. You know what it is, man.
Probably ain't your story.
We're gonna ride for a little bit.
It's his story. It's his story.
Yeah, you listening to Super Blaze. Let's go. I've been building mounds, not a mouse. Turkey pyramids, school of thought. Follow God, fuck what your religion is. Y'all niggas look small from the view of my pyramid. Hey, look at that from my pyramid. I've been building mounds, not a mouse. Turkey pyramids, school of thought. Follow God, fuck what your religion is. Y'all niggas look small from the view of my pyramid. Hey, look at that from my pyramid. School of thought, I was building mounds. All I did was dig. Now I'm building pyramids. Mama, look at what I did. Cut off the leash, took off the hook. The world brainwashed off of just one book. Same book, told my mama turn the other cheek. Don't bring me no beats, that shit get cooked. Did my research, found out my worth. Shit, I own everything on earth. That's why the Elohim with the young God like me to cast off Cougar rocks, pussy knockers in the dirt. Master ceremony, listen what the God say. Manifest life off of what I say. Better time D-I-A-Y-A. Pour up the liquor, then I say I shake. I've been building mounds, not a mouse. Circuit pyramids, school of thought. Follow God, fuck what your religion is. Y'all niggas look small from the view of my pyramid. Hey, look at that from my pyramid. I've been building mounds, not a mouse. Turkey pyramids, school of thought. Follow God, fuck what your religion is. Y'all niggas look small from the view of my pyramid. Hey, look at that from my pyramid. Yeah, you listening to Super Blaze, let's go.
DJ Super Blaze is in the mix.
GTP Beats.
There's 3,000. That man. Look. America, 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 with you the long way. America, 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 with you the long way. America to Mary, America to Mary, America to Mary, America to the long way. America to Mary, America to Mary, America to Mary, America to Mary. Treating me like you cheating on me. I got an SSC and they leeching on me. They leeching on me. They done went under the bleachers on me. All you wanna do is tax me. You ain't even really asked me. Ain't no full disclosure. Made me feel like it's over. We ain't break up, no closure. We ain't get no domestic. Is you foreign or domestic? Respect it or you can check it. I care about this country. I care about this country, but this country ain't got no love for me. It's treating me all monkey. On the boat is how they got here, and just look around, it's a lot here. They really put down the plot here, but they birthrights, it's not here. I'm from the soil. From the soil, copper color. I ain't black, no crude.
Check.
About this two-door.
We talking about America.
America.
Shout to Ryder Prince, what up?
America.
Saludos, brother.
America.
Remember that show? That little Spanish show?
They
used to have called Saludos back in elementary school. I don't know how old you are, but
America to Mary.
I was like in Spanish class.
America to Mary. America to Mary. America to Mary. How you claim you a Democrat? Just
Shout to Monte, what up? Raw trucking.
I ain't voting for nan one. Both of them can't get these hands. One nation under God. What God they talking about? What nation they talking about? Overseas is all they talking
Shout
about.
to Miss Angela, welcome.
Here, our youth trying to have fun here. Inflation stay on the rise here. Everyone in disguise here. New laws a surprise here. Everyone get to hide here. That's right, everyone get to hide here. Remember, it was just you and us before colonizing. We was doing us, no third party.
Peace, Miss Annette Marie, what up?
But they knew of us, destroyed our ruins, then ruined us. We was Indians, made us switch us up, made us switch us up, made us switch us up, made us switch it up. We ain't giving up. America, 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 with you long way. America, 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 we at war, everybody can't go there. Some of us vibing high, everybody can't go there. Some of y'all might leave family behind, everybody can't go there. Couldn't complete it, but you get deleted. Some people are defeated, so you feel deleted. And knowledge is medicine, knowing you need it. If everyone go, I'ma know that you cheated. You think I'm conceited, I'm feeling completed. Life is a game and I'm planning to beat it. Life is a game and I'm planning to beat it. Everybody can't go though, beat it. You was ascending and starting to win. No pretending, actually win. Low vibrations, boxing you in. Who keep letting them toxins in? All my people are toxin us. Everyone on our toxin land. Ancient like cosmology. I am the source, I go within. I can't go unless I go to win. Really a God supposed to win. Anyone that's trying to get with me, just start doing the most you in. Trying to turn up, it goes to 10. Blood type O, you almost in. Minarchin, we all go in. G, I'm a rule, we all go in. Bring you the water, but can't make you drink. No, I'm not here to just make you think. If anything, I'm here to just make you fight. It's all ours, just make it right. Everybody ain't with it. Let me tell you, I don't like reading. Freedom ain't free, you broke, I get it. Let me tell you, you don't like breathing. Can't even wake you up, you sleeping. Niggas are sleeping, scalping season. Some of y'all sleep through all this treason. Government beefing, now you vegan. Need autonomy, really don't need them. Now we rise, this house is freedom. Really gonna hurt my heart to leave them. Really gonna hurt my heart to leave them. This is simulation or a cycle. They be hating on you for survival. That's why I don't mess with the Bible. Ain't nobody tribal going viral. We original, we hold the title. Lot of work to do, how you idle. Ain't no false idols in they bio. We ancient in Ohio. Say what you want and do what you do, but I'm starting to get, I don't know about you. Gotta go within, can't go on YouTube. If you think you know, you ain't got no clue. Say what you want and do what you do, but I'm starting to get it, I don't know if you do. Gotta go within, can't go on YouTube. You thinking you know, you ain't got no clue. We at war, everybody can't go there. Some of us vibing high, everybody can't go there. Some of y'all might leave family behind, everybody can't go there. Couldn't complete it, but you get deleted. Some people are defeated, so you feel deleted. And knowledge is medicine, knowing you need it. If everyone go, I'ma know that you cheated. You think I'm conceited, I'm feeling completed. Life is a game and I'm planning to beat it. Life is a game and I'm planning to beat it. Gotta be everybody can't go there.
They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. We been here, lived here, open borders, got deported, fought for rights. Kidnapped, bitch slapped, blacked out, covered up, washed white. Drugged up, slugged up, beat bread, left for dead, fuck your life. It's all a plan, kill your man, take your land, slave your kids, rape your wife. Why y'all look so mad if all this shit I say is true? Why y'all look so mad if all this shit happened to you? White man quick to tell you, you was a slave, nothing before. But he himself only been free since 1840. On recording, I'm an ancient Egyptian from Atlantis, head straight for Canada, that's Israel. Nothing fake about me, no capping, rapping, I just fed the ink and I'm digital. No caveman, I'm original. Kentucky fried, extra crispy, wear a lot of gold cause my family history. I'm the guy to know, I bring death to history. But we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Swear we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if he can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know,
Feeling like I'm sorry. I don't need no driver license. Just a beauty like a license. Let her ride or die and steal the show. You know they try to drown me in amnesty, but I'm alive, they can't bury me. Now I'm wealthy and scholarly. Walk on the sea like I'm JC.
Now I'm doing bigger, better. I'm changing atmospheres. Levitate. The meditation clears the mind. Keep it so clear. Don't you let them use you. Keep your weapon near. Celebration is the only way out here. We gotta be tired of dying and burying people out here. I know it's hard cause they shoot first. They pull up, yeah, they click clack, they do dirt. They go home, then they'll get back. But they can't bother me, nah. Cause I'm not property. This is essential. Essential. Yeah, this is the mission, yeah. To be free and clear. Living off the land, feel like a trillionaire. This the mission. I ain't gotta care. Living on my dream and killing all the nightmares, yeah.
Yes. That was Black Jagger. Ascension. Hold up, man. I can't just play one Black Jagger, man. Hold up. Let me do this real quick. You know what it is, man. Super Blaze, the Autonomous Party podcast and mix show each and every Sunday. Same time, same place. Tell a friend. Hit that like button, subscribe, share. You know what it is, man. Tap in.
Back in the saddle. I'm here. Moving at the speed of light, headed in the battle. Running through the
Brand new Black Jagger thing called New Human.
Back in the saddle. I'm here.
Super Blaze, Inside the Minutes campaign. Let's go, man. We got one more before we tap in with Mac real quick.
We gon' spread our wings and take flight now.
Shout out to my guests in the back. Waiting to tap in real quick, you know?
They bring the flames down. This is the change now.
We're gonna pull it up one more time as we say in Jamaica. Pull up that. It's a fire track. Make sure you go get this right quick.
Back in the saddle. I'm here. Moving at the speed of light, headed in the battle. Running through the dark in the night now. We gon' spread our wings and take flight now. You gotta let it rain.
Shout out to Miss Sherry, what up?
They bring the rain down, they bring the flames down. This is the change now. Dance in the rain right now. Ain't no games right now. Dance in the flames right now. There ain't no pain right now. I had enough. I got a strange feeling. I got a new healing. Feel like a new human. So lost in the world out there. You need the same feelings. You need the new healing. Become a new human. They say we strange. It's blood that's in our veins. Heaven's on the way. Love's the only way. Yeah, we going up. I got a strange feeling. I got a new healing. Feel like a new human. Let out the old things go. Let out the good times go. Let out the old things go. We came to rock and roll. Brand new side with a brand new vision. We all gotta win now. My heart is all in now. Committed. Brand new life with a brand new living. Yeah. Get in the kid now. Singing in the wind now. You gotta let it rain out. They bring the rain down. They bring the flames down. This is the change now. Dance to the rain right now. Ain't no games right now. Dance to the flames right now. There ain't no pain right now. I got a strange feeling. I got a new healing. Feel like a new human. So lost in the world out there. You need the same feeling. You need the new healing. Become a new human. They say
it's in the mix.
Let's get to this anthem real quick. Can we get to this anthem real quick? We live. YouTube, we live. Come on.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pale racist? My lineage free people of color with a left make each.
That was facts. Maroon J. Autonomy, let's go. So anyway, that's the only way you should try to be right now. Let's get it. What?
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pale racist? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments, tribe to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Esther Lusty. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. But you never find a white Aborigines. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are Aborigines.
Yo, hold on. Get me shit right. Get me shit right. Yeah, mic check. Came in hype. What up, y'all? Mic check 1 2. What up? It's your boy Mac 8, the campaign mix. Can y'all hear me? Is it just me? All right. So yo, it's the autonomous party. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. It's the campaign mix. Super Blaze, 8 to 9 o'clock. Mic check. I'm getting feedback for some reason. It's a line or something. Hold on. Mic check. Can y'all hear me? Make sure I get it right before we get live. We live, but you know what I mean? Can y'all hear me out there? Y'all good? Yeah? All right, now we good. Yeah, but I knew I had a feedback. I'm hearing it in my ear like, yeah. All right, so once again, through the campaign, Super Blaze, 8 to 9 o'clock, Mixcloud early. You know what I'm saying? Crossover around 8:45. You mean, shout out to everybody that's in the chat on both sides. Could be live on Mixcloud too. So I want to give shout out to everybody that's on Mixcloud that be, following it from there. Always shout out to Music Media Lounge, www.musicmedialounge.com, where we do our podcast mix show from live in the studio. And obviously, the harsh reality is live life autonomously. Thriller, you know what I'm saying? Campaign. It's the autonomous party. It's your boy Mac 8. Shout out to Guy the Green, Baron P, Firebird, obviously Blaze. And shout out to all the social club members. Shout out to, the autonomous party in general. You already know what it is. That's the Lucia Macario too. Shout out to all the indigenous people out there. You already know what it is. That's self-identified in an indigenous way. Aboriginal style. As I like to say Aboriginal. You know what I'm saying? And got some guests tonight that gonna have a conversation with us about some things. It's the solstice dish, you know what I mean? So we're gonna go in and just, it's what they call a holiday. We call it the solstice time frame. We're going into a solstice. You know what I mean? So yeah, I want you to play that back real quick, man. How many people we got in the back already? Got anybody pulled up besides, you know what I'm saying? Let me see who we got so far. Before we bring up our guests, you know what I mean? We got a couple, we got a nice little lineup of people. I ain't gonna front. Shout out to my man Robert Lewis, you know what I'm saying? King Moves Factoids, he isn't going to be able to make it for the panel discussion tonight. We're going to have to, you know what I mean, reschedule him. He got sick. I hope he feel better. You know what I mean? My man Alpha, you know what I mean? Shout out to him in the chat. I know he got a last call, you know what I'm saying? Money first. You got to handle your business, family, and everything. So he ain't going to probably make it for this full panel discussion. You know what I mean? But still, it's Maroonville, you know what I mean? Exiled in your own land, the Solstice Edition. You know what I mean? If y'all don't know already, Maroonville. Shout out to everybody on Facebook that, you know, follows the group channel under the campaign called Maroonville. You know, powered by the party, of course. Oh, last week, I got to give my shout outs. Last week, Aboriginal Wall Street, Master Ether put on an exposition for y'all. You know what I'm talking about? That shit is, you know what I mean? He laid that bad boy out. You know what I'm saying? You might want to, I know economics and politics is not the most, you know, entertaining thing to want to tap into, but when somebody can show you they did it and they give you a blueprint on how they walked it, you know what I'm saying? I call that Yashrael. You know what I'm saying? Just walking the straight path. You feel me? I'm gonna be upright and show you transparency on how to do it now. Shout out to Master Ether for that last week. You hear me? Aboriginal Wall Street, Finland. You know what I mean? You might want to tap in with that. You hear me? In current day times. But obviously, we always talk about a lot of different things. And tonight we're gonna talk about some ancient old world. We're gonna touch it around a couple different things. You know what I mean? So we be open minded to what you hear in the conversation and how we're gonna go about it. You know what I mean? And with that being said, because it's, you know, I just got through saying Aboriginal, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go ahead and play me back the Malcolm X joint real quick at the end of the Maroon J joint. You can play, like, you know what I mean, the last part of it before you can go with the vibe. You know, shout out to Maroon J, part of my autonomy. Go ahead, slide to it. Yeah, we're gonna play this back. We want you to hear this real quick. Check this out.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folk. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. Aborigines, which means what? Black folk. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.
That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And you know, when we go about this conversation, the folk we invited, you know, the Aboriginal term is, you know, it's floating around the way it's supposed to. Shout out to Malcolm in the 1960s making this statement. You know what I mean? He's martyred for some of the things he did and what he was standing on. Some we gonna get into how and who was behind it. Y'all got to do that on another time. But he obviously had the understanding of the world in his mind of dark-skinned people in the native culture that presumed before a lot of religious things that we get caught up in today, and that we have these things in common as dark-skinned people, copper-colored folk. You know what I mean? Never Aboriginal. Now things get convoluted in jurisdiction standpoints, especially in the 1500s going forward, on who is the Aboriginal people on this land. You know what I'm saying? And other Aboriginal groups of people by the nations and empires and clans and tribes, etc., that they might have came out of from somewhere else, but migrated into what we call America after the 1500s by choice or by not. You know what I'm saying? And ended up amongst the Aboriginal people of what they're labeling now a new world. See, the Aboriginal people of the new world is what we want to get into. And we're gonna pull up our guests first, and then we're gonna play this clip. That's why we played you the Aboriginal joint Malcolm X, and we're gonna play a quick clip. We just want everybody that's pulled up so far, that's with us. You know, maybe we're gonna pull them all up real quick, and then we got some more people will be pulling up on us too. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's on the panel. Lightman Z, Nine Ether, and how I pronounce it, brother? Because I want to say Ahanu. How? Because I know you was A1. You there, A1? How you pronounce it, brother?
Call me A1, but Ahanu L, man. Peace to the God.
Ahanu. Peace to you. Ahanu L. I just wanted to get it right because I don't like to disrespect nobody's names and shit. You know what I mean? Ahanu L. A1, though. If y'all might know him popularly as A1, Toxinist one. Shout out to him that pulled up. What up, Lightman Z? I see you. You know what I mean? Because this all happened because of you pulling up. You know what I mean? That day, that phone call. So shout out to you. What's up?
Yeah, what's up, man? Honor, man. Shout out to the whole autonomous party. Nine Ether, I ain't speak to him in forever. DJ Super Blaze. You know, it's nice to get acquainted with y'all, man. You know,
For sure.
we here, man. We doing what we gotta do. We linking up and we getting information out. That's what we doing. So let's
For
get it.
sure. We're gonna do that. We're gonna have a good conversation and dialogue. We live on a couple of different platforms simultaneously, but you know what I mean, that's what we do it for on this Make Show podcast. And I don't know, do we have anybody else that pulled up? I know people might be pulling up late. Yeah, just to make sure we get everybody that we can get on the stage. I powered up. What's popping with you, man?
What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man? I mean, you've been supposed to link up for a minute now. We here now, though. Thank you for pulling up. I appreciate you pulling up for our show, man.
I appreciate y'all for inviting me.
Ain't no pressure, bro. And that's why we doing this, though. You know what I mean? Exiled on our own land. We call it Maroonville, so we like a village type of vibe. We want y'all to pull up. We're gonna have these conversations. You know what I'm saying? And I think we all have the same intention of what we're trying to do, as far as get information out to our people that are into this information. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually waiting for Back. I don't know if you want to hit Back real quick, guy, to see if he's straight. You know what I mean? Because I think, again, the other two people, one got sick. I hope he feel better. Shout out to Factoids, King Factoids. You know what I mean? King Moves Factoids, and obviously my man who obviously was on the phone with us three that day, Alpha, Rodamez. You know what I'm saying? Prince. Yeah, I think he's in the chat though. Shout out to him in the chat. And obviously anything that he might want to put in the chat for this conversation, we'll highlight it on the screen. Being he couldn't make it to be on the panel discussion part. So, you know, before we go in though, shout out to everybody that's in the chat that's going, you know, it's here as live, and shout out to everybody that's going to watch it after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe, and share, and all that good stuff. So we're going to play a quick clip though, based off we just played the joint with Malcolm X coming off the song of Maroon J. And you know, Louis Farrakhan, you know, had a little clip, and I got this from Alpha, Rodamez Prince, actually. So shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? What happened? Huh? Yeah, we're back in the chat for Back. You supposed to be on the panel if you in the chat. Back, check your email. You heard me? Yeah. Back, check your email if you in the chat right now. You heard me? I can't even see it. But I'm gonna let you know. You know what I mean? You on the fly. You supposed to be on it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we're gonna play this clip though. By the time hopefully Back get up here, we can go ahead and get it in. So check this out, y'all. Tap in with us.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, and scientists bear witness that the us are the pre-Adamites, and the pre-Adamites are the Aboriginal people of the earth. The Aboriginal people are the dark people of the earth, the black man and woman of the earth, from which every species of human being has come. Let us make man in our image and after our likeness. But after they were made, they were given power and dominion to rule over that which they came from. So in the Bible, it is written, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. Children meaning a new people on our planet. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us, and the scholars and scientists bear witness, that this new people are the Caucasian people. They're on our planet. They were given a season to rule and to dominate, but not to rule with righteousness, but to rule with other than righteousness. And that rule was going to be for 6,000 years. Unfortunately for them, they caused trouble in the Holy Land after they were made, and they were driven out of the Holy Land of Arabia into the hills and cave sides of Europe, where they spent 2,000 years, and they went completely savage, even losing the knowledge of themselves. Well, it took them 2,000 years of lost time, but they had 4,000 more years to rule, to live, to dominate everything, every people on our planet. But they could not dominate until God raised a prophet for them. And that prophet was a man named Moses or Musa. Musa came to them, but they were in an horrific condition.
Yeah, I see Back done jumped on the stage now too. Back, what you doing in the audience? Back, your mic open your mic real quick. You the last one on stage.
More power to the nation, man. Oh, matriarch's birthday today, man. It done broke me for everything I had in my pocket, man, to take care of gramps and mom today. Shout out to the matriarchs. Happy Sagittarius. Y'all running around right now. So, yeah, I'm here, though.
For sure. I appreciate you pulling up, too, man.
Already.
And I want to ask, though, because you're the last one, and how I planned it. So I'm going to do it like this, though. I'm going to come back around. And I want to just, what y'all just heard, this is how we kind of pose these questions to our guests, to kind of create the dialogue of what we want to go into. So obviously, shout out to Maroon J, and obviously that sample at the end dealing with Malcolm X, and then you see, you know, with Louis Farrakhan, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm saying certain things very similar. So I want to hear, you know, each of y'all point of view. This is how we kind of do things, just to spark it. You know what I'm saying? And at the top of my screen, I call A1, and I'm saying, A1, you want to speak on what you just heard about Louis Farrakhan, with that part we just played? What's your thoughts about the Aboriginal way he's breaking it down?
Yeah. He talked about first inhabitants. And like the Nation of Islam as well as the Moorish science, they use a phrase called Asiatic. Asiatic is the material world as we know it. First people to materialize in the material world, according to them, they call them Ayrshire addicts or Aborigines. I got a video on my channel of Elijah Muhammad back in the 1960s in an interview saying that we Aborigines. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not, you know, I know where he got it from. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely. But you know, the thing about it is, I think Malcolm X was coming more from a aspect of us like saying we Aborigines to give us the knowledge meant that we was here on this continent.
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying, to Louis Farrakhan, he may have been doing the same thing, you know, besides just saying, you know, we the Aborigines of the earth.
Right.
But he said he kind of went in though, saying that, you know, anytime you get into where the Europeans came from and they just came off the ports, and you know, we kind of go into something else about the genetic experiments that was done, in which where we can see how these people came, you know, into into the Americas and into this material reality, right?
For sure. I'm gonna move it around real quick because we're gonna come back into. I just want to open it up. Add power. What's your thoughts on that, brother? On what you just saw him say? I'm coming across that way. Add power, you there? Can y'all hear me out? Just making sure it's not me.
No, you good. He probably got his mic muted. He probably stepped away real quick.
Oh well, then we come back.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, it's all good. Go ahead, though. It's on you.
But yeah, just to touch on briefly what I heard with Louis, Minister Farrakhan, real quick, the pre-Adamites, the term Aboriginal, meaning original peoples, original thought, original intuitive, everything that you need to occupy, elevate, or to be at your higher self, you already was born with it. That's what it means to be Aboriginal. To be able to take your environment, manipulate it, to invest into your creativities. That's what it means to be Aboriginal. So to him to get into that is very important, because the mislabeling that they give our people comes with a sense of pride or a lack of, depending on which label you use. So to install some type of pride, some type of energy amongst our people, and getting back to a word that brings strength is very important. I believe that word Aboriginal is very important in this power, in this land.
I would think you would say that because you got the name Aboriginal in your name. You feel me? So I know you've been
Absolutely.
going hard. You've been going hard for Aboriginal people. You know what I mean? And I know you for that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you, I think you become popular for actually putting this message out there. So I think that's why I wanted to make sure that part fit in, particularly dealing with, our conversation that me and you've had. And again, I'm gonna come right back to you in this circle of conversation. Now, I just want to make sure everybody touches it before we get going. Now, what you thought about what Louis Farrakhan said? I want everybody thoughts on that first little plug in, and then we're gonna go ahead and take off.
Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Good.
Shout out to Light Man Z, back for what's mine. I see Light Man Z over there. I ain't seen him in a while. Shout out to
Yeah, it's been a
A1,
minute.
Add Power, and who else is in here? That's it, right?
8-1, back
Peace
towards
to
mine.
God. Peace to God, brother.
Okay, shout out to the brothers, AP, and everybody that's here that's tuned in. Yeah, my
Appreciate it,
thoughts.
Trust.
Yeah, my thoughts on that it falls aligned in what Ahanu L said. Basically, he's given the pre-Adamite identification of who's indigenous to the planet and basically bringing it up to speed on the classes of people. So they done touched it all. So I'm in line with what was already said.
You know why I did it like that? Just to let y'all know as I'm gonna wait. Light Man Z. It's on you, dog. What you think about what you heard? You know what I mean? Everybody touch the mic, pass it around.
Yeah, it is to my observation and research that Noble Drew Ali passed on the Aboriginal identification to Elijah Muhammad, and then from Elijah Muhammad to Farrakhan, and also to Malcolm X. Now, when Malcolm X highlighted that we was Aborigine, the key words I get from that is when he say that you never find a white Aborigine, because the word Aboriginal is not exclusive to one place. But when you look up etymology, it goes back to America. You know what I'm saying? It starts with America. And from our studies, what we teach over there on our side, we teach that we got the most advanced sciences, we got the oldest this and that. We could go down the list, but we doing it from a pride, from a uplifting standpoint. You see what I'm saying? We not doing it from a just a mental masturbation standpoint. We want our people to feel good about the Aboriginal information that they are learning, because the Aboriginal peoples need their respect. Once the Aboriginal peoples get liberated and get their power, right, then we could free ourselves and get busy. But we need to know who we are, respect it. You see what I'm saying? And the Nation of Islam, they may have some stain and they may have some things on or whatever, but I think they try to produce the image that they have respect for themselves. If they carry themselves with a certain vigor, you feel me?
Right.
And so it is what it is, man. So we're gonna keep pushing this. Go ahead, you got it.
No. I cut you. Go ahead, finish your thought. You good? That's my fault.
Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna land right there. Back, like he trying to get something out. Go ahead,
Back
back.
ready.
I
I
ain't see
know
you in a
back
minute,
ready.
back.
You know what I'm saying? I know back ready.
Yo,
It's on you,
shout
back.
out to the panel, man. I ain't no disrespect. Like, man, Z, been a minute, my brother. Been a whole goddamn millennium. How you feel? How everybody doing on the panel? Salute to everybody, up in the building. You know
What's
what I
going
mean?
on, back? What's going on with it, brother?
Everything good. AP out here with that A1 definitely got the fire up in the ether. I see you.
Waters and wars.
That's where the answer's at. Arthur. And like I said, Light Man, been a long time, my brother. Good to see you. But go ahead, Mac, do what you was doing, yeah.
No, it's on you, actually, back. And I'm gonna slide on to the next thing. Matter of fact, pull up the etymology joint that Light Man Z just said. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna ask you still while I put this this source up here. Etymology, Aboriginal. We come how we do this just in case some people just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Based off what they call the etymology now. And I agree with what A1 said when he said, Asiatic, because I happen to understand Asiatic is the plane of action. And who are the first to manifest on the plane of action would be the first, which means tied to the term and or origin, you know what I'm saying? It's dealing with first people would be on the plane of action. Now, in many concepts, as I heard, you know what I'm saying, all of you actually say, as a matter of fact, the Enlightened Man Z said at the end of the ladder underneath the religious principle of Islam and its history here in the Americas as the organizations from more science to Nation of Islam, that this science, even shout out to the 5% Nation, Clarence X, you know, they passed down some of this information. And this term Aborigine has been inside of that information for those who, you know, are adept or a scholar of that, you know, school of thought. In the etymology, though, adjective, you know what I'm saying, Aboriginal, 1660s, the first earliest. So that matches up, meaning on the plane of this, we call Earth. Existing from the beginning, that adds up to us, you know, situation on the plane of action, especially in reference to inhabitants of lands colonized. Now, this is the part that I wanted to kind of get to, where the 15th century now, because when I think about America and I think about the Aborigines of America, who are now coming in contact with what we would call the Europeans, is going to be the 15th century, so to speak, on from the narrative that's been actually stolen too, because there's a lot of conundrums we can go into. But again, in autochthonous one, that's another one, A1, and you know what I mean, and it's in there too. The noun meaning an original inhabitant, an autochthon, is attested in 1760. It said 1660s there. We got it earlier because technically this word Aboriginal in Aramaic and different languages predates the autochthon, which is in Greek when we looked it up. Just to let y'all know, you can go look this up. And in Latin, you get the word more like indigenous. They kind of go away with the A's and stuff. So interesting enough. You slide down, just give them the noun. Let the people see it for themselves dealing with this Aboriginal. Because I know some even people say that this word Aboriginal is means away from. You know what I'm saying? But clearly in the adjective of the action, because the you know, adjective is describing what it does and what it is. Now go down to the noun God. Slide down for me. Aborigine. Person, animal, or plant that has been in a country or region from the earliest times. It says 1858. Mistaken singular for Aborigines, 1540. See, 1540s. You know, it's something that happened in 1540 with some Aboriginal people in Alabama. Shout out to S. Lucy. Shout out to Chief Tuscaloosa. He was like an Aboriginal described as a black man in the language of the actual. I'm going to do that right now. But it's 1540. Remember that. Just remember I said that. Throw that in there. And this is considered to correct the singular in English. From Latin, Aborigines, the first inhabitants, especially of Latinum, hence the first ancestors of Rome. Because see, in Rome, I'm going to make sure I get this, with it's being that we're Latin, Greek, and Aramaic and Hebrew and all those languages, Syriac and all them joints in Rome, you can say they came in contact with somehow or another as the empire is stretched from, you know, a nice little part of what we call the other side of the pond, even touched America. However the case, this same situation though is literally, you know, that even the Aboriginal people that were first in Rome will let you know what kind of Aboriginal people they look like that were in the place before it was called Rome, just to put that in perspective. So again, does anybody disagree with anything I said about me breaking down this actual definition, etymology, etc. on here? You can take it down.
No, the only thing that I would like to say is that even in the Latin sense, the Aboriginal still stands as what it means. You know, it really doesn't divert from its initial meaning from the gradual time from earliest hence 1540s, all going back to Roman times. Via 2023, it literally means the same thing as then. You know, most words in etymology, when you look at it, it change and digress over time. This one really.
I agree. Anybody disagree with that though? I'll give everybody just chances for what it's saying. But I'm displaying it for everybody to see. So, like, man, you got your mic open. You can go ahead.
No. I was waiting for you to get to the part where I had mentioned that I had it backwards. The etymology of America goes back to the word Aboriginal, and that goes back to the 15th century. I had it backwards. I just want to make that clear. And
No
if
pressure.
you scroll down long enough, you actually see that on that same page.
You want to go back? Want everybody to see it? Go back. Pull it back up.
Yeah. I want people to see that. Why not?
Yeah, for sure. I literally had this ready, going off what Farrakhan said, because I know we're gonna get ready to go into some things that we was talking about on the phone, and I want, and all of us were on the phone, you know what I'm saying, besides back in 9 that day. And I kind of want, that's why I wanted this conversation, you know, for this time of the year. So everybody can, you know, hear our perspectives, understanding we all agree about this Aboriginal thing. This is where you want to go, right?
Yep, right there. That's it.
Yeah. Now, crazy enough, right? I said 1540 on the other one, right? You see what I'm saying? This one say 1570, but still, you know what I mean? Because Rome is way before. Again, earlier I said 15th century, and the differences and what's going on and who's being called Aborigines at this time, based off of the New World ideal of the 15th century. But that's a fluke. We're gonna throw that out the box in a second.
Well, listen, I want to add on to this because we know that the timelines has been altered, so that 500 AD when Romans was going around could be 1500s, 1540 roughly, if we look at it from a switch up from the Gregorian calendar perspective. But that's just a whole nother note too.
Oh, okay. I like how you just threw that out there though, because the calendars definitely throw a little problem in the wrench of.
So if Roman didn't exist in the 500 AD and it existed in 1500s, that means all this stuff that happened to Jesus and all this happened in the 1500s. So we can get into those talking points as well.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because there's some places that we got that the Romans so happen to be. There's name in places, there's provinces of the Roman names traveling into what we called it before it's called Europe, before we call a place today America. They're in Asia, you know what I'm saying? They're in North Africa, you know what I'm saying? And there's place names tied to these provinces. And there's people that's battles and everything that goes along with the group of people tied to what they call the Roman Empire. Funny enough, though, since you said 500 AD, I know that that they fell in the western part of their empire and what they call today Europe or Hispania or the Iberian Peninsula, you know what I'm saying, in 500 AD. And they didn't gain no leverage back in that area until really after really 11th, 12th century, you know what I'm saying, from my understanding of watching and us walking down Rome. You know what I mean?
Right. I think it's quite interesting when we get into some of the history of Rome, right? Since we're bringing up Aboriginal, we're connected with Rome. It's a great conversation already. But I think some of the timeline has been misleading, right? One of the most dominant things and prominent things we hear about Rome is Pompeii, right? We're all familiar with Pompeii, right? It got destroyed about 79 AD, and it was discovered in the 1700s, right? Wrong, because it's on maps in the 1540s map, which we just heard 1540s again, right? We just heard that 1540 map by Raphael, I forget his name. It shows Pompeii, Herculaneum on maps. You see what I'm saying? You got famous artwork that's only found at Pompeii being described and painted in Rome in 1500s. How can they create this image if it wasn't seen until it was discovered? And it wasn't discovered until the 1700s. So how you got somebody in the 1500s illustrating it? So I believe there's certain things within this timeline that we do got to look at, you know. I believe 1540 maybe.
And look at the Renaissance era, when that started, family. I'm going to just throw that monkey wrench in there real quick and fall back.
I couldn't hear you back. My bad.
He said the Renaissance. Go ahead, back.
When you look at that Renaissance, based on what AP was saying, you know what I mean? We know they shifting timelines because they lying. You know, they stealing. I'm gonna just say what it is. They stealing.
No, you're right, and that's what I'm talking about. That Renaissance area, right?
That's when that paintbrush. That's when that paintbrush started coming out. That paintbrush started coming out. You know what I'm saying? And
the mosaic paintings and artwork, right? So there's a famous one that you could pull up, Brother Mac. Either it's called the Roman mosaic fruit basket. It's a famous one. It's found in Pompeii. They only seen it for the first time when they discovered Pompeii. What's strange about it is you see a pineapple on there.
Yeah. The
pineapple didn't get introduced into Europe until the 1500s. So there we go again. We Rome in 1500. I think it only began in 1500. I don't think it ever existed before then.
There was no empire. Real quick, there was no. The only Roman Empire was the Holy Roman Empire. So when
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. So even when you go into they got a book called Fake Artifacts, right? Most of them Roman artifacts was created in 1960. the Holy Roman Empire, and we know who was running the Holy Roman Empire, Charles V, who was a nigga. All of them was niggas over. There ain't no niggas leave North Africa and go into Europe. They was already in that area.
That's a fact.
It was
Even
already
if you go back to Constantine first priest, Pope, was a so-called black man. I can pull his name up. I got his picture, but yeah. But y'all go keep rolling. You know, I'm
that
loving
would make
it. I'm loving
Constantine a Negro. Because see, we think what we think is this, right? What we think is this, right? We think we was living in harmony around white people. White people were slaves, brother. At that time, they was the lower class.
Facts.
So they wasn't making no decisions, bro. They wasn't creating nothing. Everything was coming from us. We was the holders of the knowledge. So we ain't gonna let no laborers, somebody carrying tools, tell us how to finish the project.
I mean, let's think about it. Some of the early kings, the statute in Roman, like King Andronicus, right? And when we get into some of the early Roman history, it just said in the definition of Aboriginal. Hence, the first ancestors of the Romans. And we heard Louis Farrakhan, Malcolm X say that Aboriginal people, you won't find a white one. We talk about original people, so we can already put a descriptive look to these early Romans. I believe it's very simple.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's simple too. I think that obviously the original really pull it up, bro. The link I just sent you about the Holy Roman Empire, so people can look at this. You know what I mean? Because honestly and truly, you know what I mean? It fell in 500 AD on the western side. You know what I'm saying? And the Holy Roman Empire. I ain't talking about the people that came back and did a crusade in the name of what we call today dealing with the Pope. See, because things get confusing if you don't understand the people who are being labeled Aboriginal. What language are they speaking in the time frame when Rome is, so-called becoming? Because it's Aboriginal people who are the Romans, you know what I'm saying, of that area. They the first ones to be that. Just like how the Aboriginal people here were the first to become Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same.
Right. And listen, let's look at it like this, Brother Back Ether. Let's add 1,000 to that 500. Now what year are we in?
I mean, shit.
If you add 1,000 to that 500, we're in the 1500s again.
Easy. And that's where the timelines come at kind of crazy. Because, we know, I got to admit, just based off the timeline part that we're talking about right now, that Ethiopia's calendar time is different.
Yeah, I think it's like 2014 in Ethiopia right now.
Yeah, like it's different groups of people on the earth that don't go off the calendar that we're on right now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's too far-fetched for people to understand that there is maybe a difference. And even when you think about people that were here and the people that came across here on the Gregorian calendar, the indigenous people or Aboriginal people were not on that calendar when they came in contact with these people based off a European calendar time frame of 1500. I get that part. Does that make sense with what I'm saying? How I'm saying it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and look, and let me add this to it, right? So when you get into, all right, boom. So, from my understanding, from my research, we was the ones left from here and went and inhabited them places. So even when you get into Catholicism, right? Catholicism is a form of what? Sun worship, right? It says sun worship or and whatever, y'all know, theological, theistic, whatever. That was already in Americas. That come from the worship of the sun, because we're agriculturalists, right? So what they did was
when we say worship or when we appreciation.
Well,
because people would take our words and flip them. You feel what I'm saying, though, dog? You see what I'm saying? They're taking and flip it on us. So I'm just asking you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Real quick, though. Everybody look at this. Because you talking about the 1500s. It's funny how they're talking about this. And they're showing time frames. I want everybody to see that popes and all that right there, the Pope. But look, because solstice is coming up, right? The 25th, on December 25th, that highlights right there. 800, Pope Leo III, crowned Frankish king Charlemagne as Roman emperor, reviving the title in Western Europe more than 3 centuries after the fall of the ancient Western Roman Empire in 476. Like I said, 5th century. The original empire is tied to falling out in what we call today Europe in 476 AD. See what I'm saying? This new shit is tied to Charlemagne as they're reviving it in that region people call France today, based off of the Frankish lineage tied to Charlemagne and the person they call Charles Martel, who Charlemagne is related to. That kept the Moors, who were the Almoravids.
That would be Charles the Hammer, right? That's Charles the Hammer.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right. We're saying Charles the Hammer, Charles Martel, Charlemagne descends from that. That's how he benefited from Charles the Hammer. That's how Charlemagne was in the position he was in, dealing with that, what we call dynasty. They call the Frankish dynasty, tied to Charlemagne and that Pope that made that situation. See, it says the Pope crowned him. And that's how he's now acknowledged as a emperor on behalf of this Western area of what they're doing underneath this Pope people need to look into, called Pope Leo III. See what I'm saying? And there's a lot of popes involved with the Carolingian dynasty and also the empire that's tied to what they call, this resurgence of the Holy Roman Empire.
What's
tied to Germany.
What's key to this? What's key to it is that double-headed bird. The double-headed bird is a symbol of Montezuma II. You see the double-headed bird on the outskirts of Tenochtitlan on the maps that I got, right? So when you get into the double-headed bird, that's also dealing with Charles V. Charles V was where? In Central America, right? Or when we call North America, right? He was on the Incas list, right? So when you get into all of that, right? It was showing that we had an empire from here to there. But what happened at some point in time, they started to have a new belief system that they was trying to apply upon everyone. So even when you get into these timelines, we was going off of the Mayan calendar because, Central America has too much astronomy sites and too many different observation centers that we find in Central America. So we know we was going off our own timeline. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't never going off their timeline because they the one writing the history now to put it like we was going off their timeline.
I agree with that part.
We wasn't even going to none of their schools until after 1920, 1930. So we damn sure weren't learning from them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie now. I'm gonna show y'all something tonight about some group of people that were learning from some Aboriginal people that were learning to. Oh, a back knows what's about to happen with this German. You see how I brought it up? Them Germans.
I'm ready to slide. I'm in the cut.
Right here?
I'm in the bushes.
Okay, because we just did something tied to a group of people that actually it's this time of the year. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, God, you see what I'm saying? See the segue how that work? We're gonna pull this up real quick for y'all to know. I don't know. Real quick to highlight this, and we're gonna keep it moving. And then 9, I want to hear from you, and then Lightman Zeke. I knew y'all been kind of quiet on the panel, so I want to give everybody a chance to breathe on it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna show this real quick though, and because of back me and you, and I told y'all I was gonna do part 3, but Bohemian Grove.
We got it.
It's German situation is coming, but I'm gonna highlight this part because of the time of the year we in. You know what I'm saying? But first, I want to just highlight this because some people might be doing decorational tips. You know what I'm talking about? And then they might be putting this up on top of their tree this year. You know what I'm saying? To make it look more fancier.
And don't know what it is. Don't know what it is.
And might not know the origin of where that fancy star on top of your tree come from. You know what I mean? Slide down real quick though. You know what I mean? Moravian star. See, the Moravians, by the way. Look at that star. If anybody's might not have seen it before. Yeah.
There it is.
Okay, now there's other versions of this star. If you want to go buy the star for the Christmas season to put on top of your tree, it's usually an 8 or 9 kind of some dimensional star figure, 3-dimensional. I mean, I'm just giving you a quick little promo, Moravians, for this star you made, and it's still out there as you see. Now we slide down though. You know what I mean, God? You can give them a little history on the backdrop of it, just to let them know Moravians tied to the Germans. Funny enough, right? They're tied to the Germans, and they're coming into the Americas, you know what I'm saying? Easy early in the game, you know what I'm saying? 17 51 roundabout when Benjamin Franklin is complaining and shit. But anyways, it says, if you ever seen a beautiful glowing star hanging on someone's porch around Christmas time, you may have wondered what it meant or what it was for. Chances are it was a Moravian star. While these stars used to be displayed only by Moravian households, Moravian star decor has now been popularized in many other communities and can be found year round. Says, what is a Moravian star? One more time. Moravian star is a decoration seen around Christmas that traditionally has 26 points. 26. So I was way off. I was saying 8 and shit. You know what I'm saying? It says the star look
It
quite
get up to
complex.
100. It
Yeah,
get up to
I guess
100. Go ahead, man.
it's multiplying. What I don't even know how to do that. That's 13 times 2. Yeah. Anyway, that's like the alphabet. Anyways,
Yeah, keep
they
cooking.
are
Keep cooking.
they are actually formed from only 2 shapes. Yeah, a spear, a polyhedron, and dozens of identical pyramids that form the star's point. Most Moravian stars are also have, a light source inside to make them glow. You know what I mean? So just the star decor. If you didn't know, you know what I mean? A Moravian star was first seen in Germany. This is 1830 at a Moravian boys' school. Just to let y'all know the history of it. But it made its way into the Americas to be a traditional thing that people put on this. And when they put the star of Bethlehem, because the star that they got is still correlating to Bethlehem. If you didn't know, Philadelphia, Bethlehem is tied to the Moravians in America. Shaka Mexum, then called Philadelphia, also known as Bethlehem, tied to the Moravians in the
Yeah, when you get
1700s.
up there and you deal with a lot of that history in Philadelphia, which is the old capital, and we can go back to that star going back to probably 2,000 years ago in the history and the science of ley line energies dealing with cymatics. That star is actually a vibrational frequency pattern. It's actually a shape. It's actually a symbol of a particular energy that's able to manifest. But yeah, it's definitely been reflected throughout a lot of particular armies and stuff. But yeah, Philadelphia is very rich. You got Chief Tammany up there, and him being described as black from William Penn from 1639 in the interior. Of course, Shaka Maximum, the Schuylkill River, the international greetings are giving birth to all these nations. Go down to Market Street, go to downtown Philadelphia, you see every nation's flag there. There's a science behind why you see that there. You know.
I know. One more thing I want to say too, just because of the Moravians, just to let y'all know. You say 19th century. These people are very fundamentally into the school system in North America, especially Indian schools. You know what I mean? Before the revolution and after. George Washington, I got to go ahead and give him, because he acknowledged, you know what I'm saying, these people after the American Revolution took place to still do their missionary work amongst indigenous people in 1791. But I'm going to pull this joint up right real quick to let everybody see this. And again, me and Back, we're going to do a part 3. I just want to highlight this, you know what I mean, and George Washington, you know what I mean, just make it a little bit bigger for people to see. In this right here, you know, the Moravians are tied to this right here situation that's taking place in this same year. From 1780 to 1791, the opening of the first Congress and all this right here. This book will let you know, you know what I'm saying, this is what's going on in this time frame with certain, you know, groups of people, such as the Moravians. And again, Back, you put me on this. So I had to give you a, you know, shout out real quick, and then we can keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
shout
maybe
out to
dig
God
up.
Green, man. Shout out to God
You know what I
Green, my
mean?
lawyer in there. Shout out to Blaze in the building. But go ahead, Mac. Let's go and get it. Get it to the people.
Yeah.
They need it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure people see that. You know what I mean? Like, because how we went to the German, and I was going to highlight it anyways with you, but since we went that far back, you know what I'm saying, and how the term Aboriginal went back to Rome, and how within Rome it showed Germany, and then how, you know what I mean, just, you know, all this shit, that's like you like to say, the spider web. You feel me? But yeah, real quick, and Light Man, I just want to highlight that. What you guys think about the situation beforehand? If you remember, you want me to bring it back up with the Roman situation and the timelines and everything. Now, you want to go first?
Yeah. On the timelines, I agree. There's either an injection of 1,000 or maybe 1,500 or what some people say 700, 300, and 300. But I noticed that looking at the histories pre-AD and BC, when you look at these type of things, people repeat. And like Ahanu's El said, Rome really didn't exist prior to that. But then you get the second Roman king, and his name is Mamericus Aemilius. You take that M off, you got Americus. But they also connected to Calalus. So are they Romans, or are they, like some Masonic scholars think, the House of Omer? Basically playing an anagram of Rome, Omer taking that R and putting it at the end. So we know that those people hijacked the Holy Roman Empire. We know this. Everyone up on this panel knows this. So you have this Roman Empire that's hijacking a Holy Roman Empire. So I understand this time frame that they're doing and the overlapping of certain people in the histories, whether it be biblically or mythological. If there's sitting there, like let's just say Isaac, Abraham, and Jacob is sitting in the biblical text, but I'm in the idea that these people existed in the 1300s. Isaac the Blind had a father named Abraham and a son named Jacob. They're great Talmudists. So how do you have this overlapping of certain things going on in what we call their liturgy and their histories? So they injected some numbers in there, and then they turned around and just told us a story. I like to look at the biblical text and state that this is a coded history of the 12 to 1500s. It's just a coded history. No religion. Religion is for those who fall from grace and don't have true understanding.
Nah, Ether, that was heat, my brother. I'm gonna mute my mic again. That was, I hope people paid attention to what he said. That he just got down laid bricks, like goddamn, like hot blocks. Go ahead, Ether,
Hey,
non-Ether in the building.
hey, you got to take this into account too, right? See, what's going on is this: Europeans wasn't around at that time, so they are creating these historical timelines to make it seem like they was there. They wasn't. They listen. Even if we speed that up, right? Because we believe this was done in the 1500s. I believe it was done in the 1800s. I don't even believe it was done then, because I know for a fact, even. I'm sorry. Say that again.
Now I said, wow, you say 1800s.
Yeah,
the timeline. This, you got a different perspective.
We was running. We was running. We was running.
We were. Now
No, I'm talking about in right here in North America. We could look
I'm
at that.
I'm agreeing with you.
No, I'm just saying just for the sake of the conversation.
Right.
We could look
Is this the 1800s? Are you like thinking like the 1800s is the 1500s when you say that, or just in general about Aboriginal people still running things in North America going into what we call the 18th century? You know what I'm saying? Basically.
Yeah, because you know the whole Christopher Columbus thing and everything. Remember, they couldn't come across the Atlantic like that. They was getting their boats took it. So how everybody coming to America doing all this? They writing that shit into history. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm looking at is this, right? I'm looking at in the 1800s, you had too many rich Aborigines. Was if someone was black Europeans, we let the black Europeans come. The black Europeans ain't Bogart their way into the Americas. If they came here, they checked in with one of y'all and said, look, can we come stay, or can we come back to the original empire? This is the conversation. You know, we look at it like the black Europeans just came here. Oh, we just want. No, we was running shit. Anything we allowed them to do is because we allowed them, because they was part of this empire. So even when you look, like I said, even when you look back in the 1900s or before the 1900s, everybody family had land. Everybody family had property and houses and stuff like that. We wasn't living in those shacks, and we was living in our own townships. You know what I'm saying? So for them to say that they came here in the 1500s and did something, we didn't see the effect of what they did into the 1960s or the 1950s for that move. I mean, that's just what my research, because there's too many black slave owners. Number one, there's too many black slaves. It's too many. There's too many. There's too many. There's hundreds of thousands of them. It's too many for us to be like, oh well, white people were slaves in America.
Yo, shout out to Maroon J. We did a whole build on that actually when he dropped that first one he played earlier. I mean, yeah, so we know that that's a fact on the record that
You had
that
Lee
whole idea
Cummings
of
up
things,
here.
you know. Okay, we got Lee Cummings. You already know. We know.
Okay,
If you know,
and he
yeah,
told
I ain't
you.
gonna play stupid.
So the
We
13
know.
colonies, but look, so they tell us the 13 colonies was made by white people. No, if the 13
It
colonies was
wasn't.
controlled by black people, but okay, so if they was controlled by black people, ain't no white people come over here and do nothing. If that story
That's why
ain't
that
real,
timeline messes up people. That
exactly.
messes up. See, that's where people
Exactly.
look. Now, all right, so this is where I'm glad you brought that up, A1. I'm glad you even went there with that part. You know what I'm saying? And just on the timeline part, right? All right, me and Nine need to be, shout out to him and what he's been doing with the El Negro series. You know what I mean? Anybody got to go check out the El Negro series. And this is why we tracking down that, yes, okay, there's a lot of when we went into the term Aboriginal, we did that for a reason, right? Because of the fact that the Americas, there's empires that are over here and they got names to them and shit. So you can't blanket this Aboriginal at this point. We got to get to the timeline based off of certain things we can find in charters, like how we showed that Holy Roman Empire and how it's talking about Pope Leo III and how we gonna get to the 15th century and then we could pull up the Pope who's involved with Castile, Aragon, Portuguese, the Portugal at that time, you should say. And I need to, you understand what I'm saying? Are you there? Where I'm going with this, based off of how we're just tracking that these are dark skinned people, but
Definitely,
there's a divide at this point.
those are the people that are really coming from the 15 to the late 1700s, and like A1 said, 80% of them are getting in with no problem. They're getting connected. The 20% that's not, they're known as vagabonds. But these people that first come, this is why we have to understand that the Caucasian individuals that pop up in 1790 to 1820, they're late comers to the game, but they were here in 1600s as servants and slaves to these Negroes that came from Europe, Portugal, Spain, and the Counts of Castile. All these people like Ferdinand El Negro was the first Count of Castile. His bloodline was there up until 1492. So who is he fighting in 1492 that they're from the 900s? Ferdinand El Negro Nunez is from the 900s. His other name is Ferdinand Gonzalez, the first Count of Castile. His bloodline follows from 900 all the way to 1493. 1493, they're being expelled out of an area fighting a certain person. And what do? They go to their old trade buddies and say, let's go back on this side.
I'm glad you said it like that. That's a good breakdown. Because we've been tracing this, y'all. Just like we found sources and all this. And I don't know blog shit, but like source. You know what I mean? These names. If people do genealogy, see, I know we're gonna track it down. Shout out to Nine. Shout out to Opie Miha. We into the like who these people family. Okay, who these people. All right, who they.
Oh yeah, one more thing
saying?
too, Mac. One more
Go
thing
ahead.
too, Mac. Ferdinand El Negro, his cousins are the ones that made Rosslyn Chapel. Rosslyn Chapel was built in the early 1400s, but if you Google Rosslyn Chapel walls and the carving of the outside of the building, they have maize, they have American corn, they have the American cactus. It's all into the masonry, which is the Templars. Goes back to Yahya El Negro and his family, who built that in Scotland. So we know if you look at Rosalind's church, that's it. It's sitting there with all these American things that they said wasn't on that side. So either it was on that side and it's the most ancient world in the great kingdom, as most people say, or y'all are basically predicting things, which we know ain't true. But that Rosslyn Chapel got a history, and it has corn, it has the American cactus, it has the brisker cone trees. It got everything that's American. And it's built before, like A1 said, before Christopher made his voyage, even though his real name is Zarko.
His real name is Zarko. Yeah, matter
Sephardic
of
Jew.
fact, Sephardic Jew, right? And you know what's even crazier? At that time, because what we know about them Sephardic Jews in 1492, the Iberian Peninsula, West Africa ain't gonna be included. Any of that people in that situation that were tied to that term Negro, that guy was getting kicked out. 1492. They funny enough, when we found it, they're not even on, like, they're crypto about the calendar. You see, people usually just bring up the religion part. Oh, they were crypto, Jews, so they were new Christians, Moranos, etc. But when we actually look at also now their customs and certain things, they're obviously, not really following what we will call a Roman Gregorian calendar, right? Are the people that we see today that obviously say from the religious standpoint that they are of that situation? Do they follow the calendar we call the Gregorian calendar today? Or is it just me? Last time I checked, they didn't.
No, they don't.
All right, so there's a calendar that even the first group of people in Cherokee Old Roots. And who wrote that book? Who did Cherokee Old Roots joint? Can't look at that. I said the name of the book, then can't even think of the name. It's my dude, ain't it? He wrote all them books, man. Cherokee Old Roots. Say again? Yeah, Yates. Donald Yates. Yeah, Donald Yates, Cherokee Old Roots. I'm gonna use a calendar real quick. Let me pull up that calendar for the Cherokee joint. You know what I'm saying? Anawea. You know what I'm saying? And just funny enough, in the 15th century, along with the empires such as the Mayans, their moon calendar is correlating to a lot of North American tribes and certain origin stories, which is tied to more of a moon calendar. Yeah, I sent it to you actually. You know what I mean? And it's a 13 moon calendar. Them people that was coming across the water, they was on a moon calendar too. Anybody ever seen that before I pull it up? Ab or anybody can go. It's up to you.
Shout out to the Anawea. Shout out to my nation, my tribe. Shout out to Anawea. But let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna pull it up in a second. You got it? All right, but because this calendar literally says before they came in contact with what we call Europeans, they were on a 13 moon calendar. You know what I'm saying? And it's popular, since we, talking about Aboriginal people, the turtle, right? When people say Turtle Island and everything, because they were on the turtle time. You see what I'm saying? They was on the turtle time because of the moon that sits on the back of a turtle shell. You know what I mean? Which is tied to the 13 moon calendar. You know what I mean? 13 in the middle, 28 around the edges of the shell of a turtle. I know it sounds like so, prehistoric, right? That they had their time based off of a, turtle. But the story of the turtle calendar is tied to the 13 moon calendar, however the case they might be. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds like, man, what are you doing? Cartoon shit. But hey, this is just the truth. This is the story. So before they came in contact with them, what time frame were they really on? Can you scroll down a little bit? What time frame were these folk really on? You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
They
let
try to
me.
get in the
Can
matrix.
I
Go
add
ahead.
something to what you saying? All right, so check it out. Right.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Go ahead. No, I want people to see the screen real quick. I'm gonna leave it right there, but you go ahead.
All right, so the astronomical observatory they found in Chissa Issa, right? What it has is tracking the solar system, right? I mean, or the celestial season, right? So it starts in March 21st, right? That's one chamber is March 21st. The other one is June 21st, right? And then they go to September 21st. Now there is no winter, so it doesn't go to December 21st, right? To make it 12 months. Or well, no, that wouldn't even be 12 months technically, because if we think about it, 3 from March, 3, that would probably be like what, 9, or a little over 9.5, like a woman's so-called birth cycle.
Facts,
like
9.5, yeah.
Yeah, 91 times 4.
So when, like, is it fair to say, like, when you look at the Mayan calendar, it's something that a lot of people kind of like skip over, right? Because a lot of people don't look into, like, it's kind of hard because it hasn't been really deciphered. But from what I've seen, it's kind of confusing, but it still breaks down to like 9.5 months. You know what I'm
what
saying?
turns up? Yeah,
What?
I mean, it's just a. I mean, this this is. But we were earlier all just talking. We were just talking about the fact that the calendars ain't the same, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out just a key thing that there's a Gregorian calendar tied to what people call the popes and stuff, right? And they're the ones going off this new Julius, July, August, Augustus. You know what I mean? 12-month, 365-day joint. Then they're tracing more of the sun, and they're able to implement themselves into situations, including the calendar system, to govern over people, dealing with the sun cycle of things, being that we're getting ready to go into the solstice. But actually, the most of the people that are dealing with the almanac, you know what I mean, are dealing with the 13 because they're dealing with the moon. Because of when you're dealing with the land, you know what I mean, the earth is gravitating based off the water in the land, and it's going to be more tied to the moon cycles and the phases of how you're going to be able to count your harvest and certain things. Being that this joint right here is breaking down the extra day, particularly in this custom, is done with the green corn days, like the day out of time. You know what I mean? Other sources say July 25th, you know what I mean, would be the day out of time tied to Sirius, the star constellation. So depending on tribal different situations, they might deal with it in different ways. You know what I mean? But however the case, it's 364 days and usually one day at a time, depending on different tribal backgrounds. You can slide down a little bit for the folk, you know what I'm saying, on this right here? Because I know the timeline ain't right. So I get that part, but this right here, this turtle shell, there's 13 pieces there and there's 28 around. You feel me? That's literally the count on the back of a turtle shell. You feel me? Just give y'all some background on, you know what I mean? You see it sitting in the circle time and all that kind of stuff. This is, look, Cherokee Museum. I'm not making this shit up. Museum of the Cherokee in South Carolina. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Cherokee in South Carolina. What up, Bat? You see how I do that, Bat? I mean, Anawea. Shout out to my Anawea people out there. You feel me? Just a little something. What y'all think about the timeline being that we could prove that there's obviously, just like the Mayans had, like the Venus calendar, the moon calendar, and a sun calendar. They had all these calendars that are obviously the timeline. Once again, going back to the Aboriginal power, if you're there, the timeline's not being right. You can pull up. You can pull up. Oh, app power dropped off.
I'm here. You can hear me?
I can hear you. I know app power must have fell off. Is he in the background? No. Go ahead
I
though.
know we're going through this storm, and I think it's coming. They say it's coming from Tennessee. But yeah, this is why I say when people say, "Oh, the Mayans, what happened to them?" They came up to their relatives, the Floridas, the Georgias, when the wars was popping off. Shut out the waters and wars, and we follow the money. And they tell you the people that look like us are not indigenous or descendants of the indigenous or the aboriginals. That's a fallacy. That is a lie. And if
Right.
anybody want to take that up, then we ready to deal with it. I got monkey wrenches for days. How you dizzy out here. You know what I
That
mean? We
part.
dealing with these times, and we talking about the Moravians. This is before any so-called Africans came here, and if they was here, it would have been a minimal. It would have been a minimal, and there's no shot to the
It's not
Africans because I
repopulating.
know
So
Africans.
they're not being
Yeah,
repopulated. They're
it
not
wasn't happening.
repopulating the whole group of people with three empires on this side. You feel me? People that just ain't
No,
disappearing. You know what I mean?
like that. But you see, we had we
It's not
do
how
our
it's happening.
genealogy, and we see we having 13, 20. My ancestor, shout out to my ancestor. She had 13. Then it goes 20. How would you have the? Then they bring up the Oh, they had I don't want to use the R word on the platform. You dig what I'm saying? Oh, that's how they created all these children. No, you had these children because you could feed them. You was on the farms. This when the Great Migration, not to get off the subject, but this when it had to happen to get you up off the farms. It goes back to the Moravians, and it go back to other people that was trying to take you off your land with the religion. But go ahead, Matt. 100.
Hey, to add to that, right? Another thing, what they was doing, right? When you, I mean, all right, like I got a kind of different understanding, or maybe we got the same understanding, but I'm gonna put it out there, right? What I think, right? After the Civil War, what I'm starting to understand is that they freed white people Once they freed these white people ain't had nowhere to go other than we telling them to go west, right? If they can make it west, they can have whatever's out there, and the rest of them chose to stay behind and work for us. In that process, and also, we do got Rome and these Roman different groups like, the Knights of Golden Circle, the KKK, Skull and Bones, all these shits are all down. They all down with Rome, right? These people was the ones that was terrorizing a lot of our people in the South. Coming in 4 or 5.
A1, I would rock
Yeah.
with you, and I'm gonna throw you a monkey wrench to help that out too, because you exactly right. So we know about the Great Northern Migration, right? They tell you about the Nagas, you know what I'm saying, that went up north, right? And I'm gonna do a build on this. If y'all want to do it, bring me in, and I'm gonna have to bring you because I do boots on the ground. I have to make it real for you. I have to bring you to these places if I can in my radius. You know about the Great Northern Migration, right, family? Right?
And
We
that's
know
what,
about that. But guess what? A1, check it out. Check it out.
all right,
I'm about to give you this one here. I'm about to give you this one here. There was a great Southern migration. This was your KKK. They was coming from up north. You was down here eating big. You was down here good. This was your Civil War was popping off. I got my Civil War videos on Back4WhatsMines on YouTube, brother A1AP. Like, man, if you haven't, please subscribe. Watch the videos. I show you where it popped off. I take you right to the spot. We talking about George Washington. I show you we came to our city right here. You think you got all these 100 slaves? You think they were Africans? U.S. was broke. They was broke. They couldn't afford no damn African. They enslaved the indigenous people that was here. Facts. Test me on it. And I'm ready. But we building together to give it to the people. So when we talk about the Great Northern Migration family, and Mac, you're gonna have to do it, and I'm gonna do it, port roller, pull up. You gotta understand the Great Southern Migration. This where your terrorists, KKK, all that stuff coming to the south because you had the land. It was jealousy. You had everything. They saw that you were so-called melanated or black ruling in Europe. Then they get over here and you ruling too. Something got to give. And that's
Boy,
when
let
you
me tell
start
you.
having these societies, these clans. And when the northern, they showed you, they got you off the land and they gave you industry. They gave you industry. Shout out to the men that built America. I told y'all to watch those documentaries. They went up north, Detroit and all that, the Fords, they went up north and they're making money. And now you got a land that's abandoned. So they put the pencil game on you, the pen game on you. Any land that abandoned is free. So now you have a great southern migration that is hard to find. But guess what? Your big brother back got you. I done did it for you. I done did the work for you. They came
I
down
got you.
south and this turned into your KKK. But go ahead. I don't want to get off the subject. But I just want people to know it was not only a northern migration, it was a southern migration. If you put it on the year, this is where you start seeing all the violence going down in the south because you
Yeah.
had the land. You had the land. 100.
Mm-hmm. You know,
100.
this is Maroonville. We want to get a lot of different things caught up in this conversation. That's why we're doing it like this, anyways. You know what I mean? And again, back. That's why I brought you on as a guest. 'Cause I told you I was going to try to get it in, but I wanted to break that part down and let people get that. You know what I mean? Digest. You know what I mean? Because we just did this joint, as you know. Anybody that don't know Bohemian Grove Part 2, dealing with this more events, what they've been doing. So check it out. You know what I mean? But at the same time, obviously, what he just plugged in, boots on the ground, his channel. Definitely check it out. You know what I mean? You don't hate on other people's channel. Everybody you see on this show, they got a channel like they joint. Go check it out. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody that's pulled up. Now it was something though, Light Man Z, because I'm gonna put it on you. You know what I mean? You called me the other day. You feel me? And this is how this whole thing happened. Where I had obviously you, A1, Ad Power. Shout out to Alpha. You know what I'm saying? We was on a phone call. You know what I mean? Just keeping it real how it happened. And just this is why I had other things, and I was like, you know what, though, based off what we were talking about, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and have this conversation for the people on Maroonville Live. You know what I mean? So that's why we here. And shout out to the ones who couldn't make it. You know what I'm saying? Shout such as Alpha. Lightman Z, do you want to go into that? It's on you.
Well, you know, I think I had first talked to you. What was it? Probably about it was when AP was about to debate Rob Bourne, right around that time. I think it was
Uh-oh.
about a year ago. You know what I'm saying? And then we had a good build, me, you, and AP. And then a couple months down the line, we had another build. I think it was just me, you, and Rada. And then me and you had
Mm-hmm.
some builds. And then what was it, 2 days ago? Was it? Yeah, I think it was about 2 or 3 days ago. Me, you, Rada, A1, AP, and yeah, I think it was just us. And we had a crazy build, phenomenal build. It reminded me back in the day when Back4WhatsMines, 9 Ether, and all of us used to have a Zoom meeting. We used to stay up from sun up to sun down and break day
Yo, I
doing
remember that.
builds.
Facts.
I remember
That's
that shit.
fact. I remember that. That's facts, like man. See, that's facts.
We was all
That's
talking
crazy.
each other to sleep. We was talking each other to wake up, and we was talking each other to sleep. You know what I'm saying? People was getting tired of each other because
Remind me
when
of
you be around
Clubhouse during the
somebody,
pandemic.
yeah,
Reminds
yeah,
me of
yeah.
Clubhouse during the pandemic and shit. Go ahead, though, yeah.
Word, we was quarantining on the damn Zoom.
Right.
Word, word, and shit. People was getting tired of each other, but we was bouncing so much information off each other. I feel like we was growing. So when it comes to this particular situation that we got going on right now, with the brothers collabing the way they are, you know, this 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 I think it motivates each other to produce some more better information, because it's like, all right, you having a high level conversation, a high intellect, a high IQ conversation, you dig? So it's making a different concoction at the end of the day. But I did want to talk about what y'all was talking about, man, as far as like the Roman shit. Like, you know better than me, or y'all probably know better than me about the Moorish popes. They identify as Moorish popes, but there was so-called black popes, melanated popes, right? And
Mm-hmm.
uh and when we talk about the timeline, we're talking about the works of Antomly from Miko. And he says that if Jesus
Funny
would have
enough.
existed, go ahead, go ahead. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying funny enough. You said Moorish popes. All right, where you said Moorish popes. Just making sure, you know what I mean? I heard you right, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like back in the
The
day
reason
when I
why
was researching. Go ahead.
what I'm gonna say is a term, you know what I mean, that we've been kind of like going into. And being that you brought that up, let me make sure it's there. Make sure I got it right. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this up since you brought up Moorish popes. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
go
yeah.
into a title term because I think I want you, and then I'm gonna let A1, and then we can go into some just off what you just said. I want everybody to see this though, so we could do it like this. And I'm gonna let you keep talking, but I wanted everybody to. I'm gonna send this over to God of Green so we can pull it up on the screen, and I want everybody's thoughts because it's still tied to the Roman shit since you said it. Is, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna correlate all the way across just off of our conversation in Maroonville tonight. You know what I mean? So God, go ahead though. My bad. Once he pull it up, I'll say something. But go ahead. My fault.
Nah, you good, you good. If you go to the Vatican, you see them do their ceremonies. You can see four Inca discs. It's Inca ceremony sun discs. You can see it right in they temples where they do the ceremonies at. So when we talk about they came over here, stole and corrupted some of our practices, which people want to call religions, right? And then they brung them back and then corrupted it and then used it to dominate the world. You can find in the artifacts. One of them artifacts is the Inca ceremony sun disk that you find inside the Vatican. And
Mm-hmm.
when King Charles was being coronated, right, they gave him two type staffs to hold, while they was, coronating, put him in office or whatever, put him in that spot. And that goes
Mm-hmm.
back to the symbolism of the staff god or Revocha, the Incan god. You see what I'm saying? The Incas was running shit back in the day. Little do people
Well, they're a
know.
runner. I mean, based off the timeline, the Inca, the Aztec, and the Mayans, we got them falling in 1520s. Like so,
Mhm.
and there's a requiremento of 1510 that's issued out by a pope that has the terms Indian, Moors, Jews, heathens. So anybody in the New World on any of those terms that's not in allyship with what they got going on after their, what we call papal bulls that were passed in 1492 and edicts that were passed in 1492. At this point, now they're making a statement that they don't, you don't give a damn who he is. And that's when you see empires fall, which lets you know that the empires, obviously, the rulers of those empires, at least dynasties tied to those empires, were not trying to, at that time, subject themselves to what was being put down by the requirement of 1510. That's why it's interesting. You said the Inca, and then there's the Aztec, and everybody knows the Mayans. These three
Yeah, and
particular groups, empires, or on this side of the pond, the Americas.
yeah, and inside their mythologies, Norse, Greek, and the other mythologies that they tried to fabricate, even though it got a lot of representation of our shit in it, like corn. When you talk about Homer and Greek mythology, you got corn going on. Zeus, if you look up that Tamaji, it goes back to the sky god or ones that shine. That's the sun, basically. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Norse mythology, you talking about Odin, which is Zeus too, right? And that goes back to a Mayan god called Wotan.
When
But
you
as
say
far
go
as the
back, could it just be? Let me ask you a question. You say go back.
go ahead.
Cause see, could it not just be that there's just different names? Because see, the timelines, like this timeline thing, are we really trying to say that there isn't like how we know there's in 1492 there's an empire that fell in West Africa, but in 1492 the Mayan, the Aztec, the Inca on this side, their empires didn't fall yet. So when people do timelines, even though there's certain things happening in certain locations of certain groups of people that are getting kicked out of certain areas, and then also our empire falling on that side of the pond in what they call today West Africa. And that's the Songhai Empire, by the way. Sunny Ali. Yes, we make sure that's laid out. And then now when that empire falls, on this side of the pond, people that's coming, however it might be, and not in the narrative of no, Caucasian, pale skinned person, white person, whatever, being involved. This is just melanated folk, and this is what's happening based off empires I'm seeing in the 15th century falling. And there's obviously empires in regions of what we call the Americas in the 15th century. That's why the timeline, when I know Al Powell, I don't like to talk about nobody back. When he said it, I was interested because I was like, so are we saying it based off the calendar situation? Are we saying it based off of that these things didn't happen in the 15th century based off of the Europeans' concept of time? Because off their concept of time, whatever we are calling today in 2023, if we was to go back and count their mathematical calendar system from 2023 going back to 1492, we can still be on the timeline of their systematic ways of thinking and still know that there's obviously, we just proved, people outside of that scope that are empires, cultures, tribes, etc., that are not underneath their jurisdiction yet, that are not obviously thinking based off the timeline that most of us are thinking on today in 2023. You see what I'm saying?
Right. They playing with time to maintain a dominance, of course, right? That's obvious. But they also created the evolution theory, which states that the sun is 12.3 billion years old, and the earth is 4.5 billion years old, right? And we know that the Mayan calendars and the Mayan histories, they document shit all the way to billion, way past that, like 100 billion years old. So we know our shit is further. You feel me? We know the timelines that they trying to promote is bullshit. But I just wanted to land with something real quick, because you talked about the Moravian star. That same star is held by their goddess, Columbiana, which is the Statue of Liberty, which originates from a so-called melanated woman named Charlotte, right? That was sculpted from a mason inside what they want to call France, and that was the original Statue of Liberty. But they put chains on the woman, and they made her androgynous, and they named each of these statues that they erected inside Americas, they named it after their goddesses. Columbiana, Alexandria, what's the other name? Diana, which the etymology of Diana goes back to Lucifer. And they're all holding they're all holding a version of a star. One of the goddesses is holding a Moravian star. You see what I'm saying? Now, and this is the last one I'm gonna say. When we talk about shit being conquered around a certain timeline and niggas dying and shit like that, the Mormons try to document that Jesus had to be black. Now, of course, when we go to the Mayan Codex, we see, who we see there. We see Quetzalcoatl being stabbed on the side. We see him being hung. We see him, as quote unquote Jesus, because the oldest statue of Jesus is inside Colombia too. But the Mormons also collected a lot of Bibles back in the day, which contained our genealogy. So
I'm
when
glad
we,
you said
you
that.
know, yeah. So and then the suffix of Moravian star goes back to Mo and Mormon Mo. You see what I'm saying? But this is all a part of the spiritual work that they doing, the astrological work that they doing. They they have stole our shit, and it's good that we unpacking this shit, man. I'll land right there.
No, no, no.
Appreciate you for that.
I want to ask a real quick question before we move on, Mac. Shout out to the
Go
light
ahead.
man. Like I said, I ain't talked to him in so long, man. We used to, like you said, we used to be late night on the hype, getting this thing and getting this work in. But when you said that the Mormons, you said they said that so-called Jesus was black. I understand that the Mormon was saying that you come from Ham and you curse because of your skin. But we go to ancestry and we know who controls that. If you don't know family, that's controlled by the more they have the records, right? So I'm asking you, did you say that the Mormons said that Jesus was black? Because as I understand it, they said that the skin that we have, a skin that I have on, put it on myself, is a curse. Is that what you was saying, family? My brother, like man.
Yeah, nah, you got it, man. That did slip out my mouth. Now that I catch it,
No,
Yeah, yeah,
no.
yeah,
That's what we
yeah,
can correct.
yeah.
We can correct
no,
it
no,
if it's
no,
wrong.
no,
But I'm
no,
saying
no.
if it's
This
right or it's wrong, I just want to
no,
understand
no, no.
why.
This the thing. This the thing.
I'm not at you. I'm not at you.
I know you not. I know you not. They say Jesus Quetzalcoatl, and it just so
I'm glad you
happened
brought
when my
that up.
mind, when my mind, thought about Quetzalcoatl, I thought about that melanated being on the codex on the Bonaparte
Fact.
morals. That's why I
Word.
said that they know he was black. But yeah, that slipped out my mind. You see what I'm saying?
I
That's
want
No,
to
two
you
I want
good
to
mess
go
ups
there.
money.
tonight.
No,
No,
I
you
want to
good
go
money
there. That's
around
where I want to
family
go. No,
because
Blacks.
that's
It's
gonna
an
tie
alley
back
oop.
into Moravians. That's gonna tie
No, no,
back
no,
to the
it's an
more. Go
alley
ahead,
oop.
go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, go
No,
ahead, Matt.
it's an alley oop. No, it's an alley oop. Hold on 1 second. It's an alley oop. A1, you there? Make sure A1 there.
Now I'm right here. Yeah.
All right. You remember when me, you, and Lightman and me and you were talking about Amaru, right? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
And we
Yeah.
were talking about Amaru. Just make sure that everybody hears. You can correct me if I'm wrong. You and Lightman, because y'all were both on the phone call, right? Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. We were talking about Amaru, and you mentioned Quetzalcoatl. Did you not? You remember that conversation you mentioned? Quetzalcoatl
Yeah.
in correlation to
Exactly.
Amaru?
Yeah.
All right. Boom. And I brought that up because I thought about our conversation when we had it that day. And I wanted to we're going to end on actually this part. Oh, because we can't be here for too much longer. Like we got I'm gonna say about 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes or so. And in manner of our conversation, as we end off this conversation, and me and Nine we was talking about something. And that's why I said, and when Nightman Z actually invited Nine no lies, Nightman was like, yo, you got to get Nine to come on this conversation. And this is the part that me and Nine was talking about just recently dealing with the Hammurabi codes. Nine, are you there with me? I want to make sure before I go in on this. Nine, you hear me right now? The Hammurabi codes. Make sure we all on the same page.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So I know these conversations were separate, but I know I had it with you guys on the phone, and me and Nine were having it. Just a couple days seemed like prior. Time be off, right? Anyways, what's going on is just like that timeline of 1500s Aboriginal people. We're talking about dark skinned people. But when it comes down to the cultures and certain things, and even the gods, are we matching up the gods, deities, etc., and pantheons of different cultures, such as the one that's being presented, like how Lightman Z said, Jesus being Quetzalcoatl. I thought that was very interesting, being, in the correlating of who Quetzalcoatl also is being called in different cultures. And I remember, what you said, A1. You feel I'm going with this, A1? Like, I want to make sure I ain't tripping. You see where I'm
No, no,
going?
no, no, no. I know exactly where you're going.
All right. So I don't want nobody to think I'm capping. I ain't setting nobody up to see how this is an organic conversation. We live. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to front. At the end of the day, how it went down, I want to ask you this because I got some stuff literally for the Amaru part. And me and Nine had talked about that. And then when you brought it up and what you had said, I thought about you and I'm like, yo, Nine, Lightman Z told me to invite you on a joint. But, what we were talking about was dealing with this Amaru and the Quetzalcoatl part. But here we are. Boom, how it happened. I'm just being organic. This is true story. Am I lying? I mean, before we go in, this is how it happened, right? Make sure I ain't capping.
Yeah. When you called me and told me about the whole live, I was like, I'm with it.
All right, bet. So now, this is the part I want to kind of go into for this part. I want to add Paul because he was on the line too, and we were all talking about this. You know what I mean? So, God, we could pull up the Amaru joint. It's going to show. I want to show everybody something. And the A1. So when you said the Amaru thing, dealing with Quetzalcoatl, right? As the god, as correlation in the correlation, right?
Serpentine father and Moru is the serpentine mother. So when they found Amaru, it's Amaru Moru. So Amaru will be Jesus, and Moru will be Mary.
Okay. Now, do you? Because we in the solstice, right? I don't know if anybody's heard this. So I'm just going to say it because I've been looking at this stuff before because we're going into the solstice. There's another person that people know about, very popular, Nimrod. And Nimrod has a wife, Semiramis, and she has a son, Tammuz, who's said to be born on December 25th. They happen to be dealing with sun worship at the same time. But in this situation, because the term Amaru, are you seeing this, A1? To make sure everybody's seeing it out there, everybody's seeing it.
That's why I said it's a Sumerian god. And the Sumerians was in Kugaki in Peru.
Okay. So now, the thing about Amaru is, though, he's a storm god. You feel me? Mesopotamian. So are you putting Mesopotamian that most people will put in the Middle East today, Babylon and all that, in Peru? Is my question. Okay.
Yes.
Can you go into that, please?
When you get
That's what I want you to go into.
When you get in the Sargon, right? They say King Sargon. He went to conquer the land in the west, right? And he went to the land of 10, if I'm being correct with it, right? Now Sargon's supposed to have been either Sumerian, Anunnaki, whatever you want to call them, right? But my understanding to it is this: the Sumerians came from Lemuria. That's why, because the Lemurian goddess is Amaru as well. And the Sumerians got the same god, and then the Sumerians end up in by Lake Titicaca in Peru, or what they call Kugaki. And what's their story? Their story is they went there to mine precious metals, and they also created people to mine precious metals. So, like, when you get into that story, like, that's kind of like what it's leading up to, because even, like we was talking about, about the Lemurian story, and how, like, Thoth and Murdoch had that war, in which that some people says that is what led up to Lemuria sinking. They say Atlantis, but we know Atlantis is still around. I mean, it's still around because it's America. So, I mean, as far as that connection, yeah, that's my connection to it. And even though that they telling you it's a different God, right? They telling you it's a different God, right? It's still just the fact that it kind of lines up, because, like, even if they in Peru, we got Tupac Amaru, right? But then we got the gates of Amaru Moru also in Peru.
The thing, only thing about the two different individuals is, Sumerian, and we're going ancient, Babylonian, Sumerian, Chaldean, all these situations, right? You know what I'm saying? The Amaru, based off of what we've researched, right, and it's showing within this joint right here, he's considered like a storm god. You know what I'm saying? And you can move up, God. And he's like a storm god. Pull up right now. Go back, come down a little bit. Let him get this part. That's what I want right there. That's right there. And it's just, when it says the Amaru, also known under the Sumerian name as Martu, was the Mesopotamian god who served as the divine personification of Amorites. That's in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And since in past scholarship, it was often assumed that he originated as the Amorite deity, but today it is generally accepted that he developed as a divine stereotype of them in Mesopotamian religion. As such, he was associated with the stepes and patriotism, as evidenced by this epithets of the iconography. I might have messed up the iconography, you know what I mean? My bad. This is while this was initially his only role, he gradually developed other functions, becoming known as a god of the mountains, a warlike weather deity, and divine exorcist, whatever. He is first attested in documents from the and there's them three letters, period, chiefly in Sumerian, Akkadian, theophoric names. Later, he also came to be worshipped in Babylon, Assur, and other locations in Syria and Babylonia. He had his own cult center somewhere in the area known as Sealand in Mesopotamian texts. Only in a single myth about Amaru is known. So I only read that whole part right there. You feel me?
Yeah, I
What you
know
got
you
to
go
say?
with this, man. Nah, because the Code of Hammurabi is said to be the foundation of our law system today. But they
Right,
got the Code of Hammurabi, the people, they got it from Babylonian gods. And I think
right.
what you're trying to say that the Babylonian gods they got it from is Amaru. No?
I
Hold
mean,
up.
go ahead now. Go
Hold
ahead
up.
now. Go
They
ahead now.
are Amaru. Hammurabi is connected to Symbolit, and Symbolit is connected to Apil. Apil is going. Babylon only exists at this time of Hammurabi. It only exists 6 generations of his particular bloodline. So his particular bloodline are the kings of Amaru. They are Dadbanya, Shamushu, and M-A-M, of Amaru. So the Amaru kingdom turns into the Babylonian kingdom, which is all the Sumerian kingdom. And like A1 said, Sargon spoke of this. It was the Kukulkai. But Sargon is in Hammurabi's maternal bloodline. So that would take you to the fact that Sargon is speaking of the land of Tin, like A1 said. It's called the Tin Land of the West. Excuse me, Tin Land of the West, or the Sunset Land, where the sun sets. This is what Sargon was speaking of. And as he's speaking of this in these codexes, he's speaking of this because Hammurabi, if you take that H off, it's Hammurabi or Amarubi. He already knows that the lineage is coming from that codex is coming from the Amaru gods. So Hammurabi himself, they remember the Sumerian has their own flood myth that runs parallel with the biblical text. So if a person don't believe in the biblical text, you could go into the Code of Hammurabi. This is when it changes from Amaru to Babylon. The last person is Dadbanya of the Amaru, and then it turns to, and that's 2100 BC. After that, it turns into the Babylonian kings. And 6 generations from Dadbanya, you have Hammurabi. And that's on the paternal side. But on the maternal side, he's attached to Sargon, who was writing about the extreme west or the sunset land of the west. So I'm in agreement with A1 and Mac Ether on that now that I see where y'all coming from.
Yeah, and
Oh, well,
that's new news
okay.
to me. Go ahead,
But I
Mac. I
don't know
just
about.
wanted to
No, no, no,
But I
no. Go
don't know
ahead.
about
I'm gonna
who's
let
the
you
god.
slide.
Who's the god?
I mean,
I don't know which
I
one.
mean, I'm just showing that there's a war god, and the war god though, he's not actually to me Quetzalcoatl. He's not Thoth. He's not like because when you get into the Sumerian storyline, all right, you got Enlil and you got Enki. See what I'm saying? And Enki is tied to Thoth. Enlil
To wisdom,
is
yeah.
tied to
Storm.
what we will call the war god, the thunderous god, the sky god. And Neil's the sky god. So would Amaru be also a rendition of being a sky god in the cultures of Aboriginal people from Sumeria, from Babylon, you know what I mean, and other cultures around the world of who's the thunderous war god, and then you have the one that's bringing you writing. You have the one that's bringing you the calendar system, which is tied to Thoth, Hermes, Quetzalcoatl.
Hey, look, hey,
You see what I'm
Mac,
saying? That's
let
why I'm
me
saying. That's why I'm saying it like
The
that.
Thunderbird. The
Right. That's the
Thunderbird. Do
crazy
y'all
part.
see the
The
car?
Thunderbird.
And they put the
I see that
Thunderbird. Where
part.
did that come from? That's America. The Thunderbird. One thing A1 said, I mean AP said he brought you to 1540s. This is the Spanish rule. Understand, family, when people was coming to the so-called New World, which they knew he was already here, but the New World was, like I say this again, it was your land. It was like they tell us, keep something for a rainy day. This what the Americas was. They knew you was here, but it was a rainy day. Shout out to Waters and Wars and followed up money. Portugal, Spain, they were broke at that time because you go to war, shout out to Tupac Shakur, that A1 was talking about. I'm down there in South America. We see that on Inca tablet. We see that name, right? Let's not forget Waters and Wars and the financial. So goddamn, they beefing over there, they warring over there. They broke because they had to pay to get the so-called people out of the Iberian Peninsula. When they got them out, they were sent. I told you, 1492, the same harbor that Christopher Columbus, that they tell us didn't know he was going. The so-called Jews, Sephardic Jews, was leaving that same port coming to the Americas. They knew where they was going. How he didn't know he was going? That's cap. That's bullshit going on. Right? So when they got here,
Right.
they started putting up their religion. They started setting up. I'm on the block. I'm gonna keep it simple with family. I tell you, everything is the streets, whether you know it or not. Everything is the streets. I'm on a new block. I can get you to the religious game. I can trick you. Shout out to Lil John, the Wale Indians. Shout out to the Rebellion, 1597. Shout out to the Yuchi. Shout out to Savannah River. Yeah. So if I can trick you into an ideology, then I can take something from you. Because you're going to believe that you owe their God. That's not my God. Waters and wars. Wars start popping off. Because you try to put something upon me that wasn't me. Waters and wars. I did the videos. Understand what was really going on. So all this stuff, we can deal with the ideology. It came down to money and land. When you busted the mountain to a pebble, that's really what it was. This was business. We ain't got no home. We out here begging for change with the signs. And that's what came when they came to the land. I'm just keeping it
Hold
real,
on,
man. They
back.
came to the land,
Hold on.
and that's
No,
what
I
it
got
was.
you.
And we gave them
I just
something.
want to make sure hey, look, it's so many breakdowns of this and micros and macros of this whole, you know what I'm talking about? I just want to make sure that I say it like this, though. You know what I'm talking about? Like, to me and Nine literally was having this conversation about Hammurabi. And we were like, hold on, so Hammurabi, who got this code? Because he just did them with law, right? Nigga, just like how you got the Torah, you know what I'm saying? That's how you got, there's many nations that got their different law systems that, are kind of based still off of certain things in Pantheon systems still, too. Or who even gave them the writing, you know what I'm saying? Who is the person that's the deity tied to them getting the writing skills and astronomy and everything? It's not tied to the war god, though. But this war god, though, that this particular group that's also called tied to the Bible or in Genesis or the Torah or even the Quran, the Amorites, it's going to be tied to this term. And that's why I wanted to ask, A1, you know what I'm saying? And 9 Ether, I'm going to read this and then I'm going to let y'all respond. You know what I mean? This is how we do it based off what I'm showing on the screen, right? And it's saying, the secular historians regularly associate the Amorites of the Bible with the people called the Amaru. And it's just, and I can't even see it because it's shout out to the party over it. Akkadian, Assyro-Babylonian, you know what I'm saying? Cuneiform text. The Amaru are represented as invading Mesopotamia earlier in the second millennium of BCE, and as having had a kingdom in Babylonia for several centuries. Hammurabi, the famed lawgiver of that period, is often referred to as the Amorite. Referred to as, I'm tongue-tied, referred to as of Amorite origin. Genesis 10:15-16 lists the descendants of Canaan, one of Noah's sons, and includes the Amorites among them. The passage states, Canaan was the father of Sidon, the firstborn, and of the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Girkashites, Hivites, Archites, Sinites, and all them different ites. You heard me? You can read it for yourself. The Amorites are mentioned in several other places in the Bible as well, and they are often associated with the land of Canaan. They are described as a powerful and warlike people who lived in the region of Palestine and Syria. The name Amaru is thought to be related to the name Amorite, and some think that it is likely that the Amaru and the Amorites are the same group of people. So what you thinking right there? A1 and then 9. I'm gonna let you slide. It's on you, A1.
Yeah, like okay. Like, all right, you said Acadia, right? So my knowledge of Acadia is Canada, right? We talked about the Mesopotamia or middle, right? Middle, the Potomac, right? That flows through North America, right? So, like, we know a lot of them places over there are new. Now we do see like ancient structures in Mesopotamia, or what they call Mesopotamia, Syria, Iraq, and whatever the other country is. But when like when the brother said, when they said that he gonna come to the land of the sunset, they was talking about the Americas. And I'm thinking that like that's from them telling it reversal, because they know, look, either when we get into the Father Crispic, we can see the same Sumerian in Bolivia. We see the same shit in Bolivia. And then you see the same thing in the Yucatan. So we can, like, I can pretty much trace down them in Peru, them in Bolivia, I say also Guatemala region or whatever, where they found them 60,000 structures at. So all of that is coming from it. But when I say Amaru, like Amaru, sorry, my bad.
You good?
The Amaru, like we said, that's something that extended. And when they talk about the Armorites, they talk about the people from here, from the Americas.
Interesting.
Hey,
So
hey,
now,
Matt,
what you
hey,
think?
Matt,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Light.
oh.
Go ahead, Light. No,
Nah,
I'm gonna ask
because
Nine. Go ahead, though.
I remember where all this started at in that conversation. We was talking about
Remember
the
that now.
origin of the word. We was talking about the origin of the word America, and A1 was
Right.
saying it go back to the Amaru Maru.
Right. That's what I'm
And then
saying.
we got into the Morigican or the Morigakin. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Morgarcon, the Morgarcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now you
now,
see why I'm saying, like, now you see what I'm going at. Yeah.
so yeah.
That's how
Now
I
I see
want
we
you to
going,
end our
but
joint. You hear me? Go ahead, though. It's on you.
I'm gonna say my last piece then, and then 9. You know, brother 9, very honorable guy. I'm gonna let him get it. So it's like Yahweh was known as a storm god too, just like how y'all read in that
Right.
passage.
Right.
Amaru was known as a storm god.
Right.
Now, when 9 mentioned something about Babylon, right? You got the story of Babylon involves the Tower of Babel, no? In the Tower of Babel, we talk about languages being scattered. But who kept the Hebrew language or the Phoenician language? Who kept that? Right? Which goes back to Akkadian. Eber, which is one that crosses over. But where do you find most of the Phoenician writings in the world? Right? You find it over here. Now, where's the oldest arguably recorded civilization in the world? We would like to say in Peru, what was it called? Corral Supe, right?
Corral Supe.
So
Okay.
so look, man, I could keep going, but I know we about 5 minutes left. I'm gonna
No,
pass it to
I
my
got a
brother
little time.
now.
I got a little time. I got a little more time. I just want to meet because I mean, this is Solstice edition. Like, we're gonna get out here in like 10, 15 minutes. I thank y'all for your time though. You know what I mean?
I
For
like
this
how
right
I
here.
get I like how you get into the code of Hammurabi though. I didn't know I was on that. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
was
well,
on
we
that.
know about it.
So
Just
yeah,
haha, we know it. You know what I mean?
so the energies bring people together. That's what it is. You know the
Yeah, for
vibes.
sure. No, but
But you
we
know
know that
what?
that code is before the Torah. So anybody that just like how people say, "Oh, that origin story is fake." Well, is the code fake? You know what I'm saying? Is the Hammurabi code fake?
What?
No, it ain't. So boom, that means that Babylon system is predating, you know what I'm saying, a person who's leaving out of the place we call And the place we call is going to be tied to Babylon. You know what I'm saying? It's tied to Sumerians and Babylon and these different people, the Amaru. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hey, Mac, these stories and these people are being mystified and deified. This we're talking about real shit right now. But they have been mystified. They have been a little spooked up a little bit. Even when we talk about Thoth, there's a person named Hermes Trismegistus, right? And that person had a life, but the things that he did during his life made him into a legend, and then people deified that legend, and then turned his ass into Thoth, which we know in the Queen Mu book. His people came from the west, and also he details himself that people come from the west, arguably. And I think the bird face that he got is a bird that comes from the west too. Both of them birds, Haru and Thoth, come from the west, come from the Americas. Yeah. So you know what, man? I've been going too long. You got it.
No, you good, bro. I appreciate you for making this happen, by the way, like man Z. You know what I'm saying? In our conversations over the time. I mean, you brought I know what happened to Aboriginal Power. We're going to get him back on here again for this conversation, you hear me? But at the same time, you know, hopefully all right, you know what I mean? But shout out to A1, you know what I mean? And A1, my first time talking to you just a couple of days ago, you know what I mean? And in our conversation tonight, you know what I mean? That was our conversation, right? Just before I let 9-8 to speak, just because, you know, me and you were talking, me and you were going back and forth about the Amaru part, you know what I'm saying? And that was interesting how, you know what I mean? That's the part. Shout out to your PTR too, you know what I'm saying? In that time, that picture on the Stelly.
Hey, yeah, see, look, real talk, man. The way I'm able to have these conversations, because I came through Moors, and these is conversations that Moors is talking about. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to mix it up. I got my own research with the Americas and how I tie certain things together, but I had to understand it from a world point of view first, that it was a possibility that we can have a worldwide connection or worldwide civilization that was connected back to the Americas. A lot of people don't understand that because of the story, like, you know, how they tell you how Indians is. Indians, we ain't had no fucking canoes, man. We had fucking ships 1,000 years ago. They still telling niggas that we had canoes and shit, and we was traveling across the Atlantic Ocean or whatever. Yeah, we had canoes in certain areas, but we had ships thousands of years ago. So, like, for me to understand that we would look, we the ones who built, we the ones who created air balloons or Zeppelins. So we've been flying too. That's how we was able to make some of these maps. And the funny thing is this, right? They don't never show you no Olmec or Mayan or map from the Americas. Like when I say from the Americas, for the people in the Americas making it, they still hiding them maps. They ain't bringing them maps out. You know what I'm saying? They giving us their maps created from the shit that they got that we created. So we created air balloons. We've been had boats and yachts and going places, transversing, leaving, having ports set up along the way so we can replenish and have, you know what I'm saying, have supplies along the way. No one's going to travel from Egypt all the way through Iberia and North Africa and come through the Pillars of Hercules and then come through the Atlantic Ocean, right? And then come across. Now, once they get across, if they ain't got no people over here, they're dead. Nobody traveling. Only way you want to travel like that if you got ports. You got the same way how boats dock now. They're able to stop in certain areas and replenish and get fuel and get supplies and resources because they have allies along the way. You're not going to go somewhere with just the supply. How you know a ship ain't? You ain't going to lose a ship. So the only way
I agree with you on that part. Listen, that's the thing.
That's how we know the Mayans didn't die out. They said, what happened to the Mayans? They came up north to their family, the Floridas and Georgias. They came up north when the wars was popping off. They went north, they went south. You dig? Olmecs didn't go nowhere. You've been here. You're still here because you always been here. But you get a
Neighbors,
doctor
same
that come
people.
in who's conquering, they're gonna write pencil the game and they're gonna paintbrush to put them on top. Should I can I be say they shouldn't have did it? No, that's what happened when you be conquered or you be enslaved. But when we tap back into our energy and our ancestors and listen to what people that said about us, forget what everybody say. You get back into that. And I tell people, wars and wars. When the wars is popping off, see where your people were. And if they still there, there's a story that hashtag your story matters. Go ahead, Matt.
Nah, before we get out of here though, and I want to continue this conversation in the new year. So I'm glad I met y'all. You know how this conversation happened organically. You know, me on the phone. It transpired to this panel discussion for the solstice. I think we made our point clear. Sun worship. You know what I mean? December 25th. You know what I mean? Different groups of people and cultures. You know what I mean? Correlate themselves to this situation. I mean, Sumerian, Babylon. You know, we just did a joint. Shout out to Nine Ether and Tecumseh. We're gonna be part 3 next week, and we're dealing with this Babylon to America thing, and that's why even with how me and Light Man Z, Aboriginal Power, A1, Ahanu L. Let me get it right. See, was on a phone call that day. Shout out to Alpha, Radames Prince, and we was on that phone conversation for like an hour, and it would seem like some people maybe not be looking at all the things we might be presenting. We have a conversation about it and look at the timelines and look at what's going on. Because, what timeline are some people looking at? Like, because, again, 1500s on their situation timeline ain't the same as the people that's on a whole nother calendar, by the way, as we pointed out tonight, on this side of the situation. Or matter of fact, even on that side, because the people in Babylon were on a moon calendar too. Shout out to Tahuti, Thoth, Hermes. When you understand his calendar that he made, there's a calendar tied to the 13 moon cycle, which is tied to this ancient person who was more tied to that, but he's not tied to the war situation. Like how Lightman Z said, Yahweh is being, I think Yahweh, even that is the confusion they have within that storyline of who, because they're using both, but because now they're trying to put all of it in one mono, I think it gets confusing. But we got to understand that really Babylonian place, how far it stretched, like how Rome, how far did it stretch? And Phoenicians, ships and shit, right? They had ships back then. They had Noah's Ark back then, right? People talk about Noah's Ark holding all the DNA and all the animals of the world and shit like that. But they can't correlate that it was ships in the 500 AD with the Phoenicians. I mean, like, I don't know. It's interesting. Things just to think about. Old
No,
world, new
you
world
good, Matt,
things. You know what I mean?
because the Phoenicians came up under the Romans. I keep telling people the Phoenicians was like your FedEx, your Amazon. They get it to you fast because they knew they like they knew the back alleys. You in your city, you really in your city, I can get to A to Z a quicker way. They knew the back routes. We call it in my city, I'm down south, we call it shortcuts. They knew the shortcuts on the water, and that's why they came upon the Rome. They came upon everybody. And I would tell you, I say they came to the Americas too. That part, not saying that they're indigenous or taken from us, and not take away the Siberian thing too. But there was a lot of people here, and we was here. Shout out to the ancestors. Go ahead.
No, we're gonna get out of here, man. I wanted to make sure I just shout out to everybody that pulled up on us. 9, is anything you want to say about with that last part, with the Amaru part before we get out of here, man? You know what I'm saying? We got about 6 minutes, 11. We're gonna slide. Eastern time.
Well, that article you read was on point in the sense that if you look at the biblical narrative and you push it to the side, you got to push it out the way. You understand that most of those kings at the time, they married Amorites, Akkadians, and what we call Canaanites. If we're running with the biblical narrative. Outside of that biblical narrative, you have Amaru instead of the Amorite. So when you have it on the inside and the outside, and you have that great bird, which is really the constellation of Equalus, that's what people don't really understand, which is a whole different thing. I'm going to show you my hold up. You see my cross? People ask me
the War Rose joint. Yeah.
Okay, the triple rose cross. This is the constellation Crux, and the triangle of the triple rose is Aquilus, which is the winged steed or the great eagle, spoken about in Greek mythology and Roman mythology. If you Google Aquilus, it would say that it was the eagle's thunderbolt of Zeus in Greek mythology. So they just take our things and create mythology over it. The constellation Crux was out of view of these Europeans, but it was spoken about Dante's Inferno. It's spoken about in the Iliad under the asterisk of the Centaurus wars that Homer was speaking about. So they put most of our stuff in mythology and hope that we can't unravel this with our understanding. But we as a people, it's genetically coded that if we go deep in and go within, you're gonna bring that light about. So when you look at that great bird or the winged steed, matter of fact, they call it in the Bible the winged shadow with Isaiah, or the wings that are shadowing Isaiah, the winged steed. So a lot of people speak about these things in the constellation as the actual above, because Aquilus is the constellational equator of the constellation of the world, and it's sitting in Brazil. So you have the constellation Crux, Crux, which is the constellation of the cross, because Jesus was sold out. Let's call Jesus Christ man, Christ light man. He was sold out for how many? I'm gonna end it with this. He was sold out for how much? What was he sold out for?
Some shekels.
50 of them. 50. And you have 50 states over your estate. He was sold out for 50. And you got 50
Manifest
states.
destiny.
Let it go.
Manifest
They play
destiny.
games with us all the time. And that's coming
It sounds
from
like a jurisdiction.
Yeah, a jurisdiction thing, which is another
Sound
thing.
like settlers
But that-
coming in,
it sounds like a jurisdiction.
and settlers coming in, seeing what's going on,
Hey,
pay
we
attention.
as Aboriginal people
Y'all
gotta
better get
understand our own
ready.
mythology.
And look at
Hey.
think about
That's all I'm gonna
what
say.
A1
Aboriginal
said
people wake up to
earlier.
their own mythologies. You heard me? That's all I gotta say.
Listen, think about what A1 said earlier. He said they were freeing the white people. You got to understand 1865. Who's being freed? Me and you briefly touched on it on the era of trust, but it's two systems down there. It's the Republic and it's the United States. Some people are operating under the Republic. Some people's operating under the United States. Some people within the United States is operating as free people color within the United States. Some people are outside of that United States and they're dealing with the Republic. So it says you pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the Republic from which it stands. So it stands on the Republic. And people are not operating within the Republic, they're operating within the several states. So 1865, when they jumped down there, they had to do one big thing. They had to what? Get all these unaccountable people that's in the Republic into the several states. And the only way to get them into the several states is to take their cash crop, which is the poor white boys that were running away from the North, to work for you because the conditions in the jurisdiction was way better than being up there. And the taxes was way better. And last but not least, we didn't need that coin to do business. We bartered pound for pound. Therefore, they had to get rid of that system that was going against the North, because in the North, they were using them coins down there, and we were keeping them coins and minting these coins. Therefore, it's causing a circulation problem, and interest rates is going to go high if the North is spending all their coins in the South. And then me, you, and Back4WhatsMines, Ahanu L, and Lightman, we don't need this coin. We just selling our things straight for barter for barter. It's causing the system, causing the system collapse. In 1865, they wanted to free people from contracted labor of one system and put them in another.
Man, drop the goddamn bombs.
Bars.
Ether.
Blaze.
Goddamn. Drop Blaze. Drop the damn bombs, man.
We're gonna get out of here on that.
That's heavy.
We're gonna bring y'all back though.
Let's do it again, man. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Y'all better know
how we do it. To Lightman, shout out to A1. Matter of fact, I was on a panel with 8-1 in 2019 on Supreme Chief. I don't know if you even remember that. That was about
Yeah,
2019
yeah,
before
I definitely feel your energy, brother.
long
Definitely.
ago. But
But
yes.
real quick, I want to say one thing before we get out of here, right? So, all right, so you touched on a Republican, right? See, a lot of people don't understand that, right? And I'm starting to understand this too, right? Remember, they created the United States of America.
His shit just cut
You
off.
went
Is it
out.
me?
You went out. You went out.
You cut your mic off. A1.
Oh, my bad. They created the United States of America in 1872, 1873, right? Prior to that was the United States for America. That was the Republican system that we had set up here. I don't know, and that goes back into the Continental Congress. That goes back into the original Constitution, going back to the Iroquois.
Yeah,
Well, we
Articles of Confederation. Articles of Confederation. Definitely. And it was just two
Articles
systems.
of Confederation.
Hold on. Let's say this. The Iroquois Confederacy created the republic so that we wouldn't be part of the several states. People don't understand that part. The Iroquois Confederacy created the republic as a safe haven so we wouldn't be part of the several states. We're supposed to be in the state of the Union and not the several states. And we're all part of the several states 14th Amendment charitable trust.
And that's why I tell you the biggest slave revolt, before we shut it down, the biggest slave revolt in the Americas was your Revolutionary War.
That's
You don't
what
want to. That was your biggest slave revolt. They gonna call it another thing, but tomato, slavery, indentured servitude, slavery by another name. The biggest slave revolt was your revolutionary, but the Revolutionary War was your biggest slave revolt in the Americas, and we gonna get into all that. But yeah, hey, salute to everybody on the panel. Shout out to the matriarchs. Continue to build. Let's build a spider web. Subscribe to us. We subscribe to y'all. And this thing is really about to happen. You ready to get off the information. If you see what's going on where they say it's going on at in the other side of the world, don't think that can't be brought to your doorstep. I hope y'all read between the lines. Get yourself in order. Get your family in order. We on a different thing. And shout out to MacArthur and Autonomous Party. Shout out to everybody. I'm back with what's mine. I'll get at y'all later. Mac, you shutting it down now? If not, then I'll hold it down.
Yeah, we're gonna get out of here, man. I appreciate you. A1, man. Appreciate you too. Your first time coming on here. You mute your mic real quick.
Peace to the guys, man. Definitely appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have me back on, man. Peace, man. Thanks.
No, we're gonna talk again, man. We did. Shout out to Lightman Z for making that happen. Aboriginal Power, man. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened. I hope you're all right. Once again, though, and you pulled up on us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else though, Lightman Z once again for making that happen. Shout out to Riderman Prince. You know what I'm saying? You pull up. I know he got work situations and shit like that. Like,
What happened to Alpha? Alpha ran from us today.
He got to work. No, he got to work. He got to work, man.
I see him in the chat. I'm gonna shout you out, Alpha.
Shout out to Alpha, man. Shout out to the Prince, man. That's my dog. He turned me on to Lightman. Actually, shout out to Prince, man.
Alpha be back.
Prince.
He be moving.
He be making things happen, man. He like a puppet master. So I got to shout out Rodamez, man. Shout out to Alpha, man. 100.
Alpha connect the people. Alpha connect the people.
He moving around in the background. He supposed to make it though. He's like, man, I got a call last minute. I couldn't make it. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he connected me to you a year ago.
Exactly. That's how I met you. Exactly. That's how I met you. Now me, you've been riding. You know what I'm saying? So
we ain't about to ride on our brother, man. I'm gonna ride for him, man. He always been there, man. 2 years.
Give my man shout out to my man.
Shout out. Hey, when you come through, hey, Rodman, I'm gonna tell you what he said. He always said this, and we figure out how we connect. One thing he said, and I'm gonna give him this. I hope you hear this. He always told me, he said, back when we started talking, we started doing our lineage together, and I was like, he said, blood always will return the blood. I didn't even know my man. He just started tapping into me. Then we started building, and he was like, blood will always return the blood. So shout out him for giving me that, and I guess we on the panel like that, and that's why I'm like, get onto the spider web. Blood will always return to blood. I got that for Rodamez, and I got that for Prince. So I will give them that. With that said, I'm gonna mute my mic 100.
I appreciate everybody again, man. Maroonville, you heard me? Exclusive. Solstice vibe. You know what I mean? Try to get into everybody that pulled up for the panel discussion. 9 Ether, next week, you, Tecumseh, shout out to Tecumseh, the young gunner. You know what I mean? We're gonna be doing Essanusti Part 3. And actually Babylon to America Part 2. And it's like a series within a series. When we talk about what we even got through talking tonight, just how I know that organic discussion took place. Once again, shout out to Robert Lewis, you know what I'm saying? King Moves Factoids, he couldn't make it. I'm gonna get him in the new year. Shout out to Miss Angela, you know what I mean? I'm gonna give that lady a shout out to all the matriarchs too. But I got her, she was supposed to be coming on tonight. Shout out to DJ Bay, you know what I'm saying? I'm giving my shout outs to my people that were supposed to come on this panel discussion. Our Maroonville panel discussion, that's how we doing it. You know what I mean? So when you see a panel discussion, it's tied to Maroonville, just to let you know. When we want to bring in different people we meet around the nation and have them come in, and we can have discussions about certain topics lawfully, you know what I mean? Politically, economically, culturally, socially, in a village type of vibe, you heard me? From around the world, you know what I'm saying? Those who exiled in their own land type shit, you know what I mean? We got this in common. So we're going to tap in that way. That's what it is. Blaze, take us out of here. Back4WhatsMines.
Hey, shout out to Sherry, man. I gotta make sure I shout out Sherry.
Shout out to Miss Sherry, LaShawn.
She always,
you know what I'm saying? Miss Annette,
Bria.
you know what I'm saying?
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Nancy.
Shout out to the
Alicia.
mods.
You know what I mean? Shout out to all the ladies, for sure. And everybody else. BSB, you already know what it is in the studio. You already know what it is. Please, tap in. The hard reality is live life autonomously, you heard?
DJ Super Blaze is in the mix.
Aborigine, which means what? Black folk. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I.
DJ Super Blaze is in the mix.
Good to take quite a bit of time.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke with a pair of races? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments tried to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Estelusti. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black force is the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigine, which means what? Black folk. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.